Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Retro Wrestling Review Series. I am the first and only ever dual champion on both the NXT No DQ team and the Wrestling Rundown. I already said what the titles are, so I'm not going to say it again. I'm just gloating at that point. On the Birdman Finch, even though it's a different show, but whatever. And I'm here with...
Hello, everybody. No, I'm just a simple man, and my name is Noah Foster. Congrats to you, Owen. I look forward to trying to take one, if not both, of your titles come WrestleMania week. I'm coming for you.
Well, you gotta take it, but then you gotta keep it at WrestleMania too. So, you could very well possibly have the shortest title reign on my show. Actually, you probably won't. You probably won't. That distinction goes to Chris Dodd. So, yeah, there's that. I actually forgot. We go unedited here, so I've actually forgot to put the WrestleMania 23 Wikipedia page up because we got busy talking. So I'm just gonna do that real quick as we're talking, and then I have it up. And
you know how to edit your vids. I mean, you saw the ending I had to do with mine.
Yeah, but let's get to the show we're reviewing. I'll just show off the DVD, and everyone will know. Tell me if you can see it or not. But if you can't, then I'll just tell you what it is.
It started so small, and now they're all grown up. WrestleMania 23.
And this was your pick, Noah. Why don't you tell everybody why you picked this show?
That show had a lot of great build to it in several matches, and it kept going as far as making me interested in the show. There were a number of firsts, there was a number of milestones. I loved the setup to the Undertaker and Batista match. The Money in the Bank was one of my favorite Money in the Bank matches of all time. Shawn Michaels versus John Cena, a clash of two generations. There were a number of reasons why I picked this Mania. Basically because of the match quality versus what you could call filler, the dynamics between all three brands being involved, and the build that really started for me at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, which is one of my favorite Rumble pay-per-views also.
And if I will say that too, a little bit of a plug. If you want to check out, that I did a Retro Wrestling Review series for the Royal Rumble 2007. If you want to check out that video, I'll post a link to that in the description box and in the comments if I remember, because there's a good chance I might forget. So, because I would have had you on, Noah, but we didn't know each other at the time. So,
That's not good.
It's kind of an important reason to be on the video. So, but yeah, before we actually start reviewing the show, since I have the DVD, typically what I like to do is I like to show off the DVD. And I did that earlier today with my cell phone because trying to do it with just a regular computer laptop webcam would have been impossible. So I would take you guys to that video right now, which Noah's not going to be there for. So Noah, when you see that part of the video, you can give your thoughts on that part of the video in the comments if you see it. Okay, so I don't know how the audio is going to sound because I switched from using Skype with the Blue Snowball mic to my phone. So I'm just going to show you the DVD real quick because I think it looks pretty cool. And I do got to say, when I picked this up at the time, I don't think you're going to get like a cooler looking DVD of like a WrestleMania. This looks pretty cool. I don't think we ever will again because... we have the WWE Network now and stuff, but I still think it looks pretty cool. I'm just going to kind of, show you what the DVD looks and stuff like that, and, like, looks pretty cool. But, yeah, I'm going to have said all this, by the time you get to this part of the video. So, if this isn't the best, I'm trying to, like, picture what we're going to say when we start the video off. So, let's see what happens. But, yeah, let's show this off. So this is like the Ultimate Edition of WrestleMania. It was a 3-disc set. I really like the tin box that it like goes in. I think it looks really cool actually. This is probably like one of my favorite looking DVDs. This one, the 20 undefeated streak of the Undertaker. I really like that one too. But yeah, it's the Ultimate Limited Edition WrestleMania 23. And then it has, WWE Home Video, all the brands, which, were Raw, SmackDown, and ECW at the time. And then it says DVD View on the right-hand corner. And then it says TV 14 because, you know, this was the second to last WrestleMania that was, you know, TV 14, because then WrestleMania 25, it became PG. I almost said PG 13, but it's not even that. Then you see the side, it just had, on the left, it has WrestleMania 23 with like the clippets and stuff. And you can actually like see the DVD like inside it, so that looks pretty cool. Same thing on the right, and on the back you see some WWE superstars. You see WrestleMania 23 like on the big on the bottom. You see the old WWE logo. On the left hand corner on the top, really small, you can see Edge, and then you have like, you know, the 3 main world champions on each brand at the time, which I think makes sense because you know, the ones that are going to be in like the key matches at WrestleMania. You have at the time the WWE champion John Cena, the World Heavyweight champion Batista, and the ECW World champion Bobby Lashley. And then on the bottom, and then on the right hand corner on the bottom, you see the Undertaker. I couldn't quite make out who that was. And then by the WrestleMania logo on the left hand corner, you see Shawn Michaels, and then you know, on the right hand corner, you see Chris Benoit, which, you know, kind of is sad knowing where he is today, but we'll get into that later on in the video. And then opening up the case, you know, the box is like a little dented because I've traveled with it and stuff, but when you open the case, you can actually see like the limited edition. You see like the, you know, side thing. And then here's like the actual DVD itself. Let me just try to get it out of there. Sorry, you have to see like a dark screen for a bit. I can't do this one-handed. So you can obviously see the front. This is kind of like, you know, the main logo, I think, of WrestleMania 23. You see, you know, all the 3 like main matches being advertised. You have the hair versus hair battle of the Billionaires match with, you know, Bobby Lashley versus Umaga, with Donald Trump in Bobby Lashley's corner. And Vince McMahon in Umaga's corner with Stone Cold Steve Austin as the special guest referee. The big WrestleMania 23 logo, which looks really cool. You have the WWE Championship match between Shawn Michaels and John Cena, and the World Heavyweight Championship match between Batista and The Undertaker. Opening up the, you know, thing now, I think the inside looks really cool. On the left over here, you have Chris Benoit raising his United States title up high. This is obviously spoilers, but you should have already seen this show because it was over 10 years ago. You can't see it because of the glare, but the Great Khali choking Kane with his hook. Sandman raising up the Singapore Kane. Melina choking Ashley in the corner. Then over here you see Jeff Hardy doing his, you know, big spot from the Money in the Bank ladder match where he just dove right on the edge through the ladder with Matt Hardy watching. And Mr. Kennedy after he won the Money in the Bank ladder match. Going inside now, you have obviously like the little match printout right here where it tells you like about everything that happened, what's going to be on the discs, which I think is pretty cool. They don't do that anymore because they just put it right on the side. That will be what I would be reading off of, you know, when I review the show. So I think that looks pretty cool. You see disc 1, disc 2. I'm not going to read this. Disc 3 is the Hall of Fame ceremony. But I'm not going to be reviewing that. That's a different show. I got to put my phone down real quick so I can put this back in. And obviously on the sides, just the stuff. Then you can see, you know, I'm going to go like this. Discs 1 through 2. I believe if you take the discs out, you can actually see some stuff like inside them. No, you can't. It's just, it must be a different WrestleMania I'm thinking of. So, disc 1 and disc 2 are both the show, and then disc 3, and disc 2 has some extras, and disc 3, because I don't think disc 1 has any extras, but disc 3 is the Hall of Fame ceremony. So, that's pretty cool. And then you close it up. You turn it around. You have on the back, so pretty much, if you've never seen this show and you buy this DVD, you could just basically get spoiled by just turning the DVD around, which I never did at the time. But it shows, you know, Undertaker winning the World Heavyweight Championship from Batista. Vince McMahon getting his head shaved by Bobby Lashley, Donald Trump, and Stone Cold Steve Austin, and John Cena after he won the WWE Championship. Not won it, but retained his WWE title against Shawn Michaels. Going through, you see the WrestleMania 23 logo in the scan, so that way you know how much it is when you actually go to buy it at the store. You see the full match card written out of the show, and obviously I'll read the description to you. You can probably read it yourself if you stop the video, but I'll read it anyways. After 20 years, WrestleMania returned to Detroit for the biggest night in sports entertainment. The superstars of Raw, SmackDown, and ECW collided for field for WrestleMania 23. We lived 4 championship matches, included John Cena versus Shawn Michaels and Batista versus Undertaker, and Battle of the Billionaires with WWE Chairman Mr. McMahon facing off against Donald Trump. Watch as history is made, legends are born, and one billionaire leaves Detroit bald. And it says it includes 5 hours of bonus content, which makes you question how when they actually release the DVD for WrestleMania 35, you're gonna get bonus content. So, including exclusive matches, interviews, a photo gallery, and the entire 2007 Hall of Fame induction ceremony. And then it has the WWE.com thing in the right-hand corner. So, yeah, definitely a great pickup. Obviously, I wouldn't really recommend, getting the DVD now because you can just easily go find it on the WWE Network, which I have to include in, my media wake live, but that's a topic for another day. But yeah, definitely a great pickup, though. I really like it, and it's the first time, I've actually touched this in a while because we weren't doing like a retro at the time and stuff, so. That's basically it. Now let's just take you back to me and Noah, so that way we can actually give you guys a review of the show. So that was the DVD. Probably didn't need to see that, but I like to show that type of stuff. Now Noah has to just kind of go along with it because he doesn't really know what I'm talking about right now. So let's get to the actual show itself. Yeah, what a show this was. This was the first time that they were in Michigan since WrestleMania 3. And like you said, it was the grown-up because WrestleMania, while it was still a big show, evolved after WrestleMania 3. WrestleMania 3 was pretty much the involvement, of, the company and everything in itself. And I did like the grown-up vignettes they would do with the superstars, where they would hire the kids that looked like as if they were supposed to be the superstars. Which some of them I kind of laughed at. I kind of laughed at the Undertaker one because we clearly know that that's not what the Undertaker looked like as a kid, and he didn't act. He would just be a complete weirdo if he acted like that as a kid. But they did some for the divas that were around at the time. They did one for Batista, Stone Cold Steve Austin, which I kind of like that one because the kid one, instead of doing the beers, smash the milk cartons together, which was funny. They did one for Edge, one for Shawn Michaels, and Bobby Lashley. They did one for, and the stories were real, but you could obviously tell that these weren't them as a kid. But I thought they were very nicely done, and I wish WrestleManias would do that a lot more. Have themed stuff. WrestleMania 21 was the year WrestleMania went Hollywood. This was the year WrestleMania grew up. WrestleMania 33, we had a roller coaster. So, I just like that type of themed stuff at WrestleMania. So, what were your kind of thoughts, Noah, on this theme, WrestleMania?
I first thought the theme was very fitting because it called back again to the history of WrestleMania 3. And even they brought back basically the singer herself from WrestleMania 3.
Yeah.
Aretha Franklin, I believe. So
the name was yeah, Aretha Franklin, yeah.
Yeah. The fact that they did that just really touched me, really, because it really goes back to the history of WrestleMania, how it's grown over time, how it's affected the current WWE superstars that were on this card, that dreamed of being on this card and being in this moment. And what a fitting venue, too, right in Michigan. I mean, it wasn't, of course, originally Ford Field. It was something else, I believe. But Yeah, I enjoyed it. And I also do love the fact that this was themed. I personally miss two things about WrestleMania: themes that matter and make sense, and honestly, the number. This year, oh, it's WrestleMania. No theme, no number. I don't care whether it's Roman numeral or computer based graphic, English numbering. Give me something like that. I miss that personally.
I know, because if you watched, you know, if you were a wrestling fan today who wouldn't know what number WrestleMania it is, unless if they didn't tell you, you wouldn't know because they don't have a number ever. So.
They don't even mention the number anymore on commentary.
Oh, they don't.
No.
That just shows you how much I've just zoned out the commentary sometimes. So.
Don't blame you.
But yeah. Well, we're just gonna keep moving forward. I believe this was this the first time they did one in a football stadium, WrestleMania 23, because I believe it was. This was the same one where they did Super Bowl. I think it was 43, but don't quote me on that because I'm not really the sports.
I think, yeah, because I think, as they did the vignettes, they did the opening, they did the pyro, and all three brands were featured here: SmackDown, Raw, and ECW, the new reincarnation of it, anyway. Three two-person announce teams. Perfect setup, by the way, on all three teams and their parts. And good old JR, he introduced us, and he said this emotion is infectious. And Jerry the King Lawler stated, "Can you believe there's more people here than there were at Super Bowl?" I think you're right. 30 actually, or 40. Yeah, 40 in this.
Yeah,
or to 30, or something like that. 47. I don't follow football. Sorry, I have to non-sports. In the same building. So yes, you're right. Because of momentum, because of the interest in one match in particular, but it wasn't like my top interest. Yes, it was the first time WrestleMania did something like this, and boy, did it deliver.
All right, and then starting off with an interview that aired on WWE.com because they didn't do YouTube or any of that at the time. Maria interviewed CM Punk about going into the Money in the Bank ladder match, and he talked about how this is his first WrestleMania. He wants to be a good representation of ECW, and he said that he's going to climb the ladder and he could possibly cash in the Money in the Bank tonight or wait until next year at WrestleMania, which I like that, because it was CM Punk's first WrestleMania as like a competitor because he had, did the cameo appearance at WrestleMania 22. And I thought it was a nice spotlight for CM Punk. No, I can't really give any thoughts on this because he didn't see this. So, then we had what they called the exclusive WrestleMania match, the bonus match, which they tried to tell us was the first time they did this, which wasn't the case at all. They always used to do this. So, it wasn't the first time, the last time WWE would lie about first time ever. So, it was a tag team lumberjack match. It was Carlito and Ric Flair versus Gregory Helms and Chavo Guerrero. Chavo Guerrero at the time was the cruiserweight champion. Even back then the cruiserweights couldn't make the main show, Noah. So obviously you're not as mad about it because there was no 205 Live then. So.
Well, I still appreciate cruiserweight wrestling, and I kind of feel like the cruiserweight title could have had a spot, but it's kind of like the one time they really didn't build for anything. So there was a little bit of a dark spot in my heart. But then again, I wasn't as critical about cruiserweight wrestling then than I was now, but that's a whole nother story. Because for a while, cruiserweight wrestling, it kind of was like lost in the fog.
You basically, they were just there. So,
yeah.
The only real storyline is, this was like the progression of Ric Flair and Carlito as like a tag team.
Correct.
Because I believe not long before this, Ric Flair did that promo backstage where he was trying to get Carlito to finally give a crap and have a passion about professional wrestling, pretty much. I think they had like just formed as a tag team not long before this. So, and I will say this: I got poor utilization for Ric Flair, though. The fact that he couldn't even make the main show, and it's freaking Ric Flair. This is a guy that was like a 16-time world champion and stuff didn't make it on the main card. That's pretty embarrassing in my opinion. So, I'll go through who the Lumberjacks were in this match. Let's see if you can remember these names, Noah. Represented Monday Night Raw were Brian Kendrick, which obviously you remember him, Charlie Haas, Chris Masters, Eugene, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Johnny Nitro, JTG, Kenny Dykstra, Lance Storm, Rob McAllister and Rory McAllister, the Highlanders, Shad Gaspard, Shelton Benjamin, Super Crazy, Trevor Murdoch, Val Venus, and Viscera. Representing SmackDown were Navari, Dave Taylor, Deuce, Domino, Funaki, Jamie Noble, Jimmy Wayne Yane, The Miz, Paul London, Scotty 2 Hotty, Shannon Moore, Sylvain Greener. I don't know really how you pronounce his last name, but I'm just gonna go with that. Obviously you'll remember this name if you watch recent No DQ stuff. Vito and William Regal. And then lastly, representing ECW, Balls Mahoney, Hardcore Holly, Lito Guido. I can't pronounce the last name. I believe it says Mauri Teo. I don't know how to pronounce the last name, but it's Nunzio, pretty much. Stevie Richards and Snitsky. So those are some names right there. Because, you know, they wanted to give everybody a payout at WrestleMania, so being a lumberjack was a good way to do that. So, because this was still when they wanted everybody to have a spot on the show. And yeah, I'll break down the match. It was a pretty good, pretty decent match. Michael Cole and JBL did commentary for this match, which was kind of weird, but you know, the two SmackDown guys did the commentary for this match. I would have, had like a Raw guy and a SmackDown guy commentate this match. Probably like, Michael Cole and Jerry the King Lawler. I say that because I think there might be some like legitimate heat between JBL and Jim Ross because you never see them commentate a match together. So, I like to think that they have heat because why else would they not have commentated a match together before when they've had chances to do it? But, yeah, this was a pretty decent match. Ric Flair and Carlito get the advantage early in the matchup. Chavo Guerrero gets thrown onto the outside, and Snitsky catches him and just throws him right back into the ring. And then eventually, the heels get the heat for a little bit onto Carlito, and then Ric Flair gets the hot tag, which is kind of weird that Ric Flair was the one getting the hot tag because he typically doesn't have a lot of babyface moves because of a lot of his offense is him getting the shit kicked out of him. So. And he had some really cool stuff. He went for the figure four. Gregory Helms hit the reversed DDT. And then Carlito gets the hot tag again. And he hits a really cool springboard corkscrew elbow onto, I think, Gregory Helms, which was pretty cool. And eventually all the Lumberjacks get into a brawl. And Carlito hits the backstabber, I believe, on Chavo Guerrero for the win. And yeah, Carlito and Ric Flair win. Decent match here, really nothing to complain about. A nice way to get the crowd, invested into the show right away. I gave it 2.5 stars. Any thoughts you want to give on this match, Noah? That being the kind of second point.
I feel like this has to be one of the lumberjack matches with the most lumberjacks surrounding the ring that I can honestly think of. As far as the tag match, I mean, it kind of felt inevitable that Ric Flair and Carlito were going to win because, again, Ric Flair is trying to reinvigorate Carlito. They just started as a tag team. Gregory Helms, Chavo Guerrero, they were really kind of, like you said, just there. It sounds like a decent bout, but again, the set was turned off according to a little vignette, which, of course, we'll talk about. That comes up again during the main card of WrestleMania. Heck, they don't even do that now. I'll give them credit. At least they didn't wrestle, practically in the dark. But it sounds like an average match, so I would say 2.5 as well.
And that's where they got now. Obviously, Ric Flair and Carlito would break up shortly after this, with Carlito turning heel.
Yes.
And then Ric Flair would beat him, and Ric Flair was drafted to SmackDown, so that was basically the end of that feud. And Ric Flair would have his final match the next year at WrestleMania against Shawn Michaels in the recent WWE, and then obviously we don't totally talk about with his TNA one. We just pretend.
Oh jeez.
So. But today Ric Flair is basically under a Legends contract. Carlito didn't really last much longer after this. He basically was a lower mid-card guy to jobber, by the end of 2007 to 2010, and then he was basically released, and now he works indie shows. Chavo Guerrero would last up until 2010. Actually, 2011. I forgot he did it.
It was 2011.
And then he got released. He went to TNA and Lucha Underground. He's one of the producers. Is he still one of the producers of Lucha Underground?
I'm not sure, actually. And Lucha Underground is completely up in the air, but I'm hoping for a season 5.
And then Gregory Helms, they basically pulled the plug on the Cruiserweight division until 2016. Obviously, we know that because we were just a part of that show. So, and Gregory Helms, he was released not long after this, like in 2009. He did one more stint as the Hurricane, and then was basically out of the company. And now he's back basically as a, an agent pretty much backstage now. And you actually don't know this, but James and Hurricane, not James and what's his name, Gregory Helms, have heat with each other because they had like a stint on Twitter. Just ask James about it, and he'll tell you about it because it's best hearing it from him. So, and as for where all the Lumberjacks are, I'll just quickly say where they are real quick. Brian Kendrick is still in the company. He was, released in 2010, actually 2009. And then he was brought back in the Cruiserweight division now in 2016 and has been there since. Charlie Haas lasted until 2010, and then now he works the Indies. Chris Masters lasted until he was released twice. He was released once later on in the year because obviously that steroids thing screwed over like half the roster, which when we get to a certain match on the show, we'll get into that. And he was brought back in 2009, but then released in 2011. Actually, I think 2012 he was released, but I don't exactly know. And then
my memory's cloudy about that time. That was an odd time for wrestling.
Yeah, and then he was released, and then he recently worked Impact, but doesn't work Impact anymore. Eugene was released shortly after this too. I think he was gone after. This is when he just had his head shaved and stuff too, and now basically he trains wrestlers and stuff. Hacksaw Jim Duggan works under a Legends contract. Johnny Nitro, is working in Impact Wrestling because obviously later on he became John Morrison and stuff. JTG is working Indies. I think so because I believe Cindy posted a picture about that. So, Kenny Dykstra works Indies. He had one more one in the WWE. A lot of guys were released in 2007 when you read this list, actually. Lance Cade, unfortunately, is dead. He was released in 2008, and then he died, I think, shortly afterwards. The Highlanders both were released in 2008 for supposedly going to a TNA show. So don't ever go to another wrestling company's show if you want to keep your job, apparently. So
WWE especially.
Shad Gaspard, they broke up. Crime Time lasted until 2010 as a tag team, but then they broke them up for some stupid reason. And Shad Gaspard basically was released right after they split up, and he works Indies as well. Shelton Benjamin lasted until 2010 because he asked for his release, and then he went in the Indies, tore the house down, and now he's back, and they're not doing anything with him. He was rehired in 2017. Super Crazy, was released in 2009 and works Indies now. Trevor Murdoch was released in 2008 and works Indies now. Val Venus basically slowly faded. He was released, but I feel like it was more of a mutual thing. But he works Indies now, I believe. Viscera was released in 2008 and unfortunately passed away in 2014. Daivari was released and went to TNA, and then came back to WWE. Now he was just recently hired as an agent. Dave Taylor retired, I think last year actually. Deuce and Domino, they were the tag team champions at the time. They had just won the belts. And
thanks to Cherry.
Huh?
Thanks to Cherry.
Yeah. And Domino, he's actually in the Indies right now. He looks a lot different right now. He has a different name, and he's a part of some faction in ROH. I forget the name of it off the top of my head. So, he's Clipped Compton, and he's a part of. He was a part of Scum, but that was in 2015. So, and then Deuce, I think is retired now. Jamie Noble works as an agent backstage now. Jimmy Wayne Yane was released in 2009, is basically retired now. The Miz, if you go watch The Miz in 2007 and watch him now, for people that say he didn't bust his ass, go watch The Miz in 2007.
Incredible growth, thank God.
Yeah. Paul London was released in, I believe, 2008. A lot of people were released in 2008 was not a good year to be in the WWE. They were firing people left and right, apparently. And he works Indies now. He was actually supposed to work a show in Top locally, but he had an injury and didn't work the show. So, And Scotty 2 Hotty basically, he wasn't released, but he was basically done wrestling, and he comes back with short time appearances. Shannon Moore was released in, you guessed it, 2008, I believe, and he worked Impact for a while, and he's just doing indies now. Savon Greener was released later on in the year, and he works the indies now. Vito was released later on in the year. He does podcasts now. He did some stuff for No DQ. And he actually was one of the wrestlers that sued WWE in 2015 due to those concussion problems, which never got brought up on NoDQ.com. That should have been brought up, but wasn't brought up. And
that's better left off buried in the past.
Yeah, William Regal, you didn't get released. He lasted in a wrestling role up until 2012. I think that was 2013 was his last match. And now he's basically the GM of NXT. I don't know what's going on with him though, because we haven't seen or even heard from him at all. So I hope he's not like sick or something. So.
Well, I mean, he mostly just works backstage because the beauty of NXT versus mainstream WWE, the freaking storylines and wrestlers are not driven by the freaking general managers.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but we haven't seen him on screen in like months though. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Balls Mahoney passed away 2 years ago. Actually, 3 years ago now, because it's 2019. And he was released later on in the year. Hardcore Holly was released in 2009, I think. But was, basically done in 2008. Like I said, 2008, if you were in WWE, you weren't really going to be last long. So, and he actually, this was like his last appearance, I think, before he went out due to that injury with RVD in like that Extreme Rules match, because if you go and watch like the Please Don't Try This at Home, that's like one of the things that shows up here. So Little Guido lasted until about 2009, and now he works the indies. Stevie Richards works the indies. I believe he ran his own podcast for a while. And Snitsky is retired. So those are where everybody is. You're lucky, because if it wasn't just you and me on the show, we would have been playing that game again. So you lucked out on that one, Noah. Now let's get
Take care, guys. Hope to see you soon on the rundown.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're doing fine, but
hey, they're all busy. They're not here, so I'm just saying they're all doing something.
So let's get to the actual show itself. The commentary team, Michael Cole and JBL commentated all the SmackDown matches. Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler commentated all the Monday Night Raw matches, and Joey Styles and Taz commentated all the ECW matches. We really shouldn't say all of them. We should just say the one ECW match.
I'm about to say, they showed up twice in commentary. The ECW match and, of course, our opener.
Yeah. So, kind of sucked for a lot of people that, I know, Noah, a lot of people that think that the Cruiserweight division gets booked like trash. ECW had it a lot worse than the Cruiserweights did, I think.
Well, here's the problem with that. And recently on WWE Network, you saw probably the same thing I did. They did like a Unloaded or Story Untold type special with the voices of ECW, from Tommy Dreamer to Paul Heyman to even Shane McMahon, who wanted to bring back ECW. And part of the reason, and why we had the new ECW in the first place, the biggest reason was they were trying to assimilate the new ECW as another byproduct of WWE's ways on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live. So it never picked up off the ground.
Exactly. But yeah, now let's get into the show. It shows the history of WrestleMania in the beginning. Basically all the WrestleManias that led up to this one. They even did like a callback since, this was the same like state where WrestleMania 3 was held. They showed like the clip of Vince McMahon welcoming everybody to WrestleMania 3. And we're showing Athena Franklin singing America the Beautiful, which she did a good job doing that. I don't really think
incredible singer.
Yeah. She had like people in the background sitting in the choir for her, so that was pretty nice. And then we had the 8-man Money in the Bank ladder match. We had it was basically a multi-branded match. I like that everybody did commentary for this match, and I thought the commentary was done very well, because a criticism we have is when they try to do more than 3, it never works. It actually worked this time. So
here's the thing: that was 6 people, 3 separate brands represented, by only 2 people each. They didn't talk over each other. They didn't bicker among each other. They shared witty banter, and they interjected themselves in the match's commentary when one of their guys was actually doing something. What they tried to do back at Survivor Series, where Corey Graves was going to speak on behalf of everybody during everything, totally flopped.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I remember when they did it like Survivor Series 2017, when they tried to do both Raw and SmackDown. It didn't work, so.
Jeez. You had to bring that shit up.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember.
But we had, representing Monday Night Raw for this match was Jeff Hardy, Randy Orton, Edge, and I think that's it, actually, because, that's it.
Yeah, the rest of the guys were SmackDown Live and ECW. Continue. You got 5 left.
Representing SmackDown was Ken Booker, Mr. Kennedy, Matt Hardy, and Finlay. I don't know if I ever said Finlay, but I'm saying him again. And representing ECW was CM Punk, which he was making history because he became the first. You could also say he really wasn't the first ECW superstar because technically RVD competed in ECW, but I think they mean under that, brand extension. So, I'm going to be that asshole that brings that up. So, but yeah, what a great way to open up this show. The storylines in this match, basically, it's a Money in the Bank ladder match, but they did have some intertwining storylines in this match. Each guy had to qualify to get in the match, which I kind of like that about the Money in the Bank. I hate it when people just get handed them, just get announced. I kind of like it when they earn it. Jeff Hardy beat Shelton Benjamin to qualify. Ken Booker beat Kane in a Falls Count Anywhere match to qualify, which we'll get into that. Finlay beat Chris Benoit and MVP to qualify. CM Punk beat Johnny Nitro to qualify. Mr. Kennedy beat Sabu to qualify. Matt Hardy beat Joey Mercury to qualify, which I think was Joey Mercury's last match in WWE until 2010. Randy Orton beat Ric Flair and Carlito in a triple threat elimination match to qualify, and Edge beat Rob Van Dam to qualify, which I kind of like that they did that. They had the 2 previous Money in the Bank ladder match participants go at it with each other, like winners. So that was cool. And I liked the feuds they had going on in this match. They were hyping up Jeff Hardy because this was his first WrestleMania since WrestleMania 18. I was gonna say 17, but I forgot he had the one more match at 18. They were questioning whether the Hardys were gonna turn on each other because the stakes are just way too high. Matt Hardy and Edge had a history with each other from the feud in 2005. This was the first time they were gonna go to blows with each other since that Loser Leaves Raw match. Finlay and Matt Hardy had experience in this match because they had been in WrestleMania 22's Money in the Bank ladder match. Randy Orton and Edge, this was them slowly breaking up as a tag team. I believe they officially broke up, and they tried to get each other pulled from the match by forcing each other to defend their spots in the match, which I liked.
Rated RKO.
Yeah, I liked that tag team. I think the only reason the plug got pulled was because DX had to break up early, so that's why they had to pull the plug and rated RKO. Basically those were the only storylines in the matchup, but they were still some pretty good storylines. They obviously had matches with each other building up to the show. So very good storylines in this match, because I hate nowadays when they just do the Money in the Bank, they just throw all the guys in the match and there's no storyline behind it. Here they actually had a lot of people intertwining in storylines with each other, so I like that. And the match starts and gets right underway. Everybody just gets into a big brawl. Mr. Kennedy immediately tries to go for a ladder, but Randy Orton stops him. And immediately Finlay just hits a dive right outside the ring, basically taking out everybody. So Edge tries to get the Money in the Bank briefcase right away. But Matt Hardy stops him, and they go at it for a bit. And then Finlay and Randy Orton try to go after the Money in the Bank briefcase. Because we can say briefcase because they let you say that at the time, so we can actually say it here.
I'm still so screwed out of these banned words. Continue.
And the ladder just ends up falling over. And then Ken Booker starts to get on a roll. He hits a super kick. I might be jumping ahead of myself, but it's a Money in the Bank match. You can't.
Don't worry, I'll talk more about it once you're done.
Yeah. He hits a spine buster onto CM Punk, Randy Orton, and he hits a super kick on Finlay, and he had a spine buster on somebody else. And then earlier in the match, Ken Booker actually went to pull out a ladder, and he actually ends up pulling out that step ladder.
Kill me! I didn't.
And then he gets cut off by CM Punk, and he hit him right across the head, right in the ribs with the step ladder. And then Edge intervenes, and he hits CM Punk off the head with the ladder, which
he froze it at CM Punk's head, busted it open.
Exactly. And he hits Matt Hardy off the head, and Edge sets up a ladder, leading it up against the barricade and the ring apron, and he tries to suplex Matt Hardy through it, but Matt Hardy counters into a snap suplex, and then that's all. Then all that Ken Booker stuff happened right afterwards, and then let's see.
And the WrestleMania spin and ruin it because it's WrestleMania. Exactly.
And then this is when the Hardys get involved, and they start taking out everybody with the ladders. And Ed, they try to do the Joey Mercury spot from Armageddon 2006 onto Edge. Man, and Finlay intervenes and pushes Jeff Hardy off the turnbuckle when he lands ribs first across the barricade. And Matt Hardy ends up hitting Finlay with the ladder, which busts Finlay open, which I thought was very cool. Edge suplexed Matt Hardy into the ladders that was set up like yet in 2006, which was awesome. And then Mr. Kennedy goes for he lays out Matt Hardy, and he goes for the Kenton bomb, but he ends up hitting the back of his neck on the ladder because Matt Hardy moves out of the way. And then Jeff Hardy hits the Swanton bomb onto Mr. Kennedy, and then the moment of truth came. They had to fight each other. The Hardys go up the ladder, and they get into a brawl, which is what everybody wanted to see. It was actually a really cool storyline in the match, kind of showing that this match you kind of have to turn on each other to win the Money in the Bank ladder match, but the stakes are just that high. I know a lot of people crap on him, but I actually thought JBL's commentary in this match was very good by him pointing this out.
He was tolerable back then because he was with Michael Cole. Those two are probably the most decent that JBL could actually be with somebody.
We also talk about this too. The commentary wasn't so, they actually had more free will to say what they wanted to say at the time too. So
right, and again, they didn't overtalk each other. They interacted with the match and with each other when one of their brand guys was doing something.
Exactly. And then Finlay tips the ladder over, and then Edge, he gets on a roll in this match by he hits about a spear on everybody except CM Punk because he reverses it.
Spear frenzy, 6 spears.
Yeah. Well, 7 actually, because CM Punk was the only one that didn't take it. Oh no, 6 because Edge was. How could Edge spear himself?
How Edge can spear himself in a mirror?
Yeah. I do gotta say though, a lot of people that trash Edge's spear, you can kind of see why they trash it in this match because his spear was not one of the best spears of all time. So.
No.
And then CM Punk, puts the ladder over his head and does the whirly bird where he hits everybody with the ladder. And then Edge spears CM Punk, and it ends up taking I think it took out Finlay and Randy Orton, or Finlay and Ken Book, or something like that.
Orton.
Okay, with the ladder. And then Edge is about to get the briefcase, and Matt Hardy tips the ladder over, which causes Edge to take a nasty fall on the outside.
It was actually Orton, a callback to Radar Hill. Orton's the one that tips the ladder over, and Edge falls to the floor. After Edge goes and grabs the biggest ladder possible, and people are like, so it does. That's my ex-wife. I guess my big ladder.
And then this was an awesome storyline. Well, story plot in the match. Jeff Hardy has a chance to win the match. He easily can just go up, unhook the briefcase, and then that's it. But Matt Hardy puts Edge on that ladder that he set up earlier in the match against the barricade and the ring apron. And Matt Hardy tells Jeff Hardy, jump. And Jeff Hardy is contemplating because he said he wanted to.
Everyone's like, grab the briefcase. Where's the damn match, Jeff? What's wrong with you, kid? You got to show the World Championship, Jeff. Damn it to hell.
Yeah. Which obviously, is a great JBL commentary line. So
again, he was teasing here, and this is the only time he was teasing. Oh, one more thing that happened before this. Jeff Hardy face plants Orton with some sort of move.
I think it's that reverse suplex that he likes to hit. So
yes.
I think that was like right when he started doing that move too. Actually, like,
it was relatively new in his repertoire during that
yeah.
time. But anyway, continue about how this spot built and then what happened.
So Jeff Hardy is just trying to decide, does he go for the win or does he, end Edge's career? Because obviously him and Edge have a history too because of their TLC matches at WrestleMania's, 2017 and SummerSlam 2000. So,
Right.
And Matt Hardy wants Jeff Hardy to do this because, like I said, he hates Edge. So Jeff Hardy does it. He ends up hitting the split-legged leg drop on the ladder, off the ladder, through the ladder, which completely wipes out Edge and Jeff Hardy. They are just done out of the match. Matt Hardy, obviously shows concern for his brother because, he just went through a ladder. And this was the end of Jeff Hardy and Edge. This was an awesome moment in the match. And Noah, when you go back and watch it, that's actually when you go and open like the DVD, that's like one of the things you see is like, I'll just show you, tell me if you can see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I see it, yeah. And
yeah.
everybody, the ECW commentary, SmackDown, Raw, they're all like, oh my gosh, they're both broken their history. And JBL actually showing concern, like, that's 20 feet. He came down. And I think it was Taz that said, watch this impact. Oh! And then, of course, JBL back to his, sarcastic type stuff and stuff. He's like, and damn that Jeff Hardy. Damn it to hell. He could have won the damn match. Instead, he wanted to be a human highlight reel, and he destroyed himself and Edge. Which he literally did because neither man showed up the match, but Edge literally got pulled off on a gurney.
I think Jeff Hardy probably did too, but it didn't show it, on camera. So
maybe.
But this also was an end for Edge because this was the end of his WrestleMania undefeated streak because even though, I remember the next year they tried to say he was undefeated, but he wasn't because he lost this match. So, yes, I'm being that asshole again, so sue me. But then, the match continues and Matt Hardy, he's got to move on. You can't think about Jeff Hardy. He's got to win the match himself. And I always question, after Matt Hardy turned heel in 2009, did he have Jeff Hardy jump off on purpose, knowing that he wouldn't be able to, resist and want to take the win for himself? Probably not.
He always calls back to Jeff Hardy's recklessness, and if you remember, the two were feuding, truly a brother-sibling rivalry that culminated in a match at WrestleMania 25, and then I quit match after that. So it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. So then Randy Orton gets on a roll. He hits an RKO on Finlay, Mr. Kennedy, and Matt Hardy, and he's about to go for the win, grab the briefcase, and CM Punk, comes in, and he tries to prevent him. Randy Orton RKOs him off the ladder, which is probably one of the best RKOs you'll ever see.
And they had the Wyatt Coyote camera replay. I missed that camera angle so much.
Exactly. And then Randy Orton's going to go for the win again. Ken Booker tries to prevent him, but Randy Orton goes for the RKO on him. But Ken Booker's able to counter it. Probably Randy Orton was tired from doing this once. And he hits the bookend right off the ladder, which was awesome. Yep. And Ken Booker has a chance to win this match. And Matt Hardy stops him, but he's able to fight off Matt Hardy. No, Queen Shamel, because they were thin at the time, pulls him off. And, Ken Booker easily can go for the win himself. But Matt Hardy threatens to lay out Ken Booker's wife, Queen Shamel. You can tell I almost messed up there. I had to save it. But
yeah,
with the twist of fate, if he grabs the briefcase. And Ken Booker has no choice but to...
he had a choice, and he looked like, concerned, but he also would contemplate for a moment. And then JBL, again, perfect moment for JBL, was really good in this. I have to give him credit when he was actually decent. Most deplorable human being ever now, but hey, Booker the hell with her. I've left plenty of women. Oh, God damn it, Booker.
Yeah, it was awesome. So Matt Hardy gets laid out with, lays out Ken Booker with the twist of fate, and then he's going to go for the win. But then Finlay tips the ladder over, and Finlay at this point is just busted open.
That's hard, too.
Yeah. And he hits the counter cross on the ladder onto Matt Hardy, which is the end of Matt Hardy.
But it was kind of a mistimed counter cross, because if you saw, like I did, he caught his back on the edge of the ladder, which obviously came into play as the match progressed.
Yeah. and then Finley goes for the win, but then Mr. Kennedy knocks him off the ladder. No, Finley can't climb up the ladder, so Hornswoggle is going to go do it himself. Which, they make the jokes saying that even if he gets all the way to the top, can he actually reach it? Which,
Thank you, King Lawler.
Which, you could make the argument about that, though, because that's actually legitimate, because I don't even think he would have been able to reach the briefcase, but, obviously those jokes have to come out. And this is when he just used his name, Hornswoggle, so. Then Mr. Kennedy takes out Finley, and, he goes up to Hornswoggle, and
this is a mismatch, to say the least.
And Hornswoggle does the best he can to fight him off. But none of his strikes have any effect on Mr. Kennedy. So Mr. Kennedy hits the Green Bay plunge right off the ladder, right onto Hornswoggle.
Plunge, yeah. They had an effect, all right. They angered Mr. Kennedy to plunge Hornswoggle off the ladder.
Yep. And then Mr. Kennedy's going to grab the ladder, but Finley takes him out, hits him with the ladder. And Finley's going to go for the win, but CM Punk hits the drop kick, taking out Finley. And CM Punk's about to... Huh?
Breaking the ladder, too. It was unusable after that.
Yeah. And CM Punk's going to go for the win, but Mr. Kennedy stops him, but CM Punk fights him off the first time with the high kick. But right when CM Punk is about to, unhook the briefcase, Mr. Kennedy grabs the ladder, hits CM Punk off the head with it, and climbs up, grabs the briefcase, and he becomes Mr. Money in the Bank, which obviously made complete sense because they were really building Mr. Kennedy at the time. He had beaten like 6 former world champions.
Yeah, listing off his accolades and all that stuff. The future of SmackDown Live, Mr. Money in the Bank. Yep.
So yeah, that was I thought the right guy won the match. This match is still a great match, 4.25 stars. I think it's just a great Money in the Bank match. It's probably my second favorite one of all time, just behind the first one. So, your thoughts on this match, Noah? Anything I missed that I didn't say?
No, I think you pretty much nailed the match to a T. Well done. That's why I was checking it off, people. Yeah, I took notes and everything too. I absolutely love the match. Like I said, I love the intertwining storylines and the intertwining foreshadowing that was to be told. I love how commentary played off with each other and played off all the competitors in the match at the right time. It was a brilliant spot fest at times. There was some crowd-pleasing moments. There was an oh my god moment, and a moment we still remember to this day. And yeah, I feel like it was fitting that the right guy won. And I love the Mr. Kennedy entrance, by the way, where the lights all went out. It was just a giant stadium of cameras and people just listening to him go, Kennedy! This is definitely one of my favorite Money Big Ladder matches of all time, and it's 4.5 for me.
Right. And I know, a lot of people didn't really like Mr. Kennedy because, he sold really weird and he wasn't like the best wrestler. But this guy easily, I thought, was main event talent with his promos, the way he presented himself.
He had key entertainment value to him, and he was not the greatest wrestler, but he was still somewhat decent compared to others.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the aftermath isn't so good at this match because Mr. Kennedy is that main event star that never was. Every time they were going to give him something, he either was suspended, injured, or, got fired. So, Mr. Kennedy, unfortunately, got injured right after this match, basically. Like, he was going to cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase at WrestleMania 24, which he probably was going to, lie eventually and just, cash it in at, like, at the champion.
I mean, let's be honest. No, if anyone and everybody, like, said that, we truly, truly never believed that was going to happen.
Yeah. So, but then he got injured at a house show, and they overdiagnosed his injury. So they took the Money in the Bank off him and gave it to Edge, which you could say is like bittersweet because we never would have probably gotten that great Edge Undertaker feud, which we'll get into that. But it really sucks because Mr. Kennedy was that main event he never was. He was supposed to be Vince McMahon's illegitimate son, and then obviously, all that steroid trial was happening where people were just getting tested left and right, and he failed the test. Then I feel like too, after 2007, his career just wasn't the same. Just kept getting injury after injury to the point, where he messed up a move on Randy Orton. got fired.
Yeah.
And he went to TNA from like 2010 to 2016.
Anderson, and he did become TNA heavyweight champion.
Yeah, but he was really just a transitional champion.
Yeah.
I feel like he was just really, for me, never really, made it in TNA. I feel like to him in TNA, he was just kind of.
He was kind of like filler. I mean, he had his storylines with the Aces and Eights. He had the storyline with protecting Christy Hemme from Samuel Shaw. And then he ended, I think, like Bully Ray in a coffin when Bully was threatening like his family and stuff like that. And then pretty much it was gone.
Yeah. And then, but Edge benefited, and I think Mr. Kennedy is the only superstar too to, win the Money in the Bank briefcase and never get a chance to cash it in. He just lost it, so sucks for him. Because he never cashed it in. So in a way,
before WrestleMania, Mr. Kennedy was facing Batista in a World Heavyweight Championship match at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
I guess it was just never to be.
Yeah, but Edge benefited from this because he got to become World Heavyweight Champion, and be with the Undertaker. Basically up until the end. Unfortunately, Edge can't wrestle anymore either because of his neck injuries. He retired in 2011. Ken Booker was gone out of the company shortly after this too because of he was sick and tired of people getting drug tested. So he went to TNA for a short while, and then basically came back to WWE and does the panels now and stuff. He had like his last match in his wrestling promotion in 2013.
Reality of wrestling, yep.
Finlay had like a nice short little run, and now he's an agent backstage. And just when the WWE was starting to get things right with CM Punk, because he was kind of being booked like crap, this match was going into the direction. You know what happened shortly after this? He joined the New Breed, I think, basically right after this show, and turned him heel again. And it wouldn't be the last time they would stupidly turn CM Punk heel when he was just over. Because this time didn't work because he was like in the New Breed for like what, a month?
Month, if that.
Because no one wanted to boo the guy and stuff. So, but yeah, CM Punk probably is one of the greats. He's that he's the guy though that like should have been used a lot more. I know a lot of people are gonna say, well, he was like the longest reigning WWE champion. He was this, he was that. Just everything that's happened with CM Punk, his career should have been so much more, in my opinion.
And he never reached the pure pinnacle of his career, main eventing WrestleMania. He never reached that.
No. And then Randy Orton's still kicking some ass, I guess.
Still going strong.
Yeah. This was when he was in that line for like his big. That's when he got like the big push in 2007 too.
Yeah, he went full sadistic. One of my favorite storylines from that year too. Even if the WrestleMania 25 match was a bit lackluster.
The Hardys had like one final like stint before this recent one they're having now as a tag team. They won the World Tag Team titles and lost them, and then they kind of did their own thing, and they had like the big pushes and stuff, and went to TNA for from like
a number of years.
Yeah.
Both men achieved the TNA Heavyweight Championship. Jeff Hardy went through multiple phases. I don't want to rip Immortal, but it was a thing. And then eventually we got the iconic Matt Hardy, where he took the title from Ethan Carter III, EC3. And then both men, they brawled. Eventually, Matt Hardy became broken. And then eventually, Jeff Hardy, he became obsolete, Brother Nero. And it led to so many incredible video-type, portray, choreographed matches and stuff ran by Vanguard One. And it was just a ton of pure fun. And hey, now they're back in WWE.
Yes. Together, too. They came back together, and then when Jeff got...
That was one of the only good moments, by the way, of WrestleMania 33. And they became tag team champs that night. They've already been tag team champs again. Now, where they go from here, I think we know, and we'll see what happens. Because it looks like, they got like a contract again, that then they could choose to extend it if they want. Because, I mean, if you've been watching WWE Network, they did say they want to finish out their career in WWE.
Exactly. And then we had highlights from the Condemned premiere. because it premiered this week with Stone Cold Steve Austin. So
Good movie.
yeah, well, I've never seen it, so I can't judge. So
Well, first off, I don't watch practically anything now outside like wrestling. I barely watch anything else as it is. I'm lucky to be able to keep up with all the wrestling I do, as you can see behind me, and more. But I thought The Condemned was all right. It was one of the last WWE movies I think I saw. I think I saw the first Marine, and the only reason I saw the last movie was because Becky was in it. Yes, I said it. And I think I saw Chaperone. I didn't see Knucklehead. I sure as hell didn't see See No Evil, which we're going to get a reference to, of course, later when we talk about that match. But
we're going to talk about that match too.
Yeah, and what else? I mean, yeah, we already talked about the cartoon ones. They've been with Scooby-Doo, like 2 or 3 Scooby-Doo movies. They've been with the Jetsons. They've been with the Flintstones. I haven't seen none of those because I outgrew all that. So
yeah. I did watch the Scooby-Doo one recently because
which one?
Those 2 of them.
Yeah, at least
the WrestleMania one.
Okay.
So it's my cousin.
All right. So yeah, that's our opener. We got The Condemned, we got The Sins, then we got a backstage interview with Todd Gresham, who's at the company at the time, talking with Mr. Kennedy, who says, blah, 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 blah. First of all, I'd like to congratulate myself, because I'm not a good guy. Because nice guys finish last, so thank God, I'm not a nice guy. Thank God, I'm Mr. Kennedy. Thank God, I'm Mr. Money in the Bank. Bank.
I love the promo. Great promo.
Again,
it just makes
a great promo.
Makes you more upset though, because nothing came of this. So,
yeah.
Then we had an all grown up vignette of Batista. Kind of already broke that down, so I'm not really gonna pick it down again.
Now Noah gets to become passion.
Yeah. Now Noah gets to have some fun. We have the inter-promotional match, Raw versus SmackDown. Monday Night Wars, Kane. No. Monday Night Wars, the Great Khali versus SmackDown's Kane. And Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler commentated this match. I would have had a guy from Raw and SmackDown commentate this match, but probably call him, Lawler, because I don't think, JR and JBL.
Yeah, let's not figure about that combination. What would come of it? But I kind of miss how they did like interpromotional type matches. If they did this nowadays with, I don't know, NXT and a SmackDown Live guy, I feel like that would be very interesting. This match was odd, but again, it showcased both these giant monsters and stuff. Kane coming out to his classic Chemical song, which I miss personally. Great Khali, imposing giant figure with his Indian type of music. They talked about like his side. They talked about how Jerry King Lawler, he has suffered from the Great Khali, but been in the ring with giants like Andre the Giant, for example. But he's faced the plunge. There wasn't much here. I mean, it was pretty slow and messy. Kane had his biggest spot with the flying clothesline that did not even take down Great Khali, because to this point, the Great Khali, he did not ever been taken off his feet. Then Kane gives him a big boot, and Khali literally falls backwards into the ropes. He tied the ropes. Kane takes advantage, but the ref pulls Kane off them. Ref, of course, seemed intimidated more by Great Khali than Kane. Kane pulls out, hey, folks, see no evil. It was a thing. Kane pulls out that hook and chain. You're thinking, oh, Lord. And not much came from that. Great Khali, he gets out of the ropes, but Kane, he regains control by low blowing the chain, which I thought was an interesting spot, underneath Great Khali behind the ref's back. And then, call back to Wrestlemania 3 again, and the first time apparently Great Khali's been taken off his feet, Kane pulls off a Hogan moment, lifting the Great Khali and slamming him, getting a near fall, but no. And eventually, Khali, he's mad. He goes to destroy the turnbuckle, and Kane suffers, though, for it. Not the turnbuckle spot. By the way, turnbuckles were really different back then. They had all this fluff in them, and Khali just literally just rips it off. This is before now, which I'm sure is not the thing with turnbuckles, so now you can just untie them and take it off the ring. But, Kane loses after Khali literally just plunges him to hell and literally covers him with only 1 foot. 1, 2, 3. Oddball match. Simple, but Khali once again dominant. Kane still finding his place. Literally filler. 2.5 for me.
Wow, you're being more generous than me. I think this match is just trash. It just makes Kane look like an absolute geek because are we really supposed to believe that Kane's punches aren't gonna have an effect on the Great Khali?
And that's probably what they're trying to tell you at this point, especially with the Andre and the Giant spot, which was the most thing about this match. And that's the only reason I'm giving it 2.5. I'd be surprised if you give it a 2.
No. I have a worse rating than that, but I think that's trash, just because it's not like it's freaking like Jimmy Wayne Yane or like freaking who else? Let me look at like who else was on that freaking. Like it's not like it's a freaking cruiserweight or like a freaking like Chad Gaspard or something giving these. This is a freaking Kane, the guy that is Hellfire and Brimstone throwing these punches, and they have no effect on the Great Khali. Get out of here with that crap. And then what else was like really bad in this match? I hated, the way that Khali, pinned him with his foot, because that just made Kane look like a jobber. Like I said, you do that type of crap with enhancement talent, not freaking Kane, who's like dominated WWE for like 20 years at that point. That was just stupid. The storyline was stupid. I hate the Great Khali. He just sucked. He was so immobile, couldn't move, and unfortunately, this wasn't the end of that Great Khali push.
Right, but here's the thing. Nothing against the Great Khali. You got to remember, he suffers from that ailment. So it's not like he can really do a lot. And the fact that he lives with that every day and did this, though, that's credit to him. That's why I'm being a little more generous. The match absolutely sucked. You're right. But to his credit, he tried.
Effort, though, is not sometimes enough. So
True.
It gets 1 star for me, and the 1 star is from that body slam, because that is a cool moment in the match.
Yeah.
And 1 star.
Yeah, and we know where both men are. Glenn Jacobs, he's now the mayor of his county, but I wouldn't be surprised if they pay him enough blood money to give him another 1-up. Fuck Saudi Arabia!
Good luck doing the rundown by yourself with Chris that week, because I'm taking a couple weeks off until after that Saudi show. So,
damn it! All right, I'll do it. For wrestling, and the fact that I support the WWE superstars that suffer through that, because I bet you a lot of them feel the same. But anyway, I digress. Enough of that. Like I said, Glenn Jacobs. Now that's his official name. He was a wild. I gotta be honest with you. The very first time I saw Corporate Kane, I was like, "What the hell?" And then I hear him, and I'm like, "Holy shit!"
He's pretty intelligent. Yeah.
Yeah. And as far as Great Khali, hey, he's relaxing at home, and he's actually training superstars. And I wouldn't be surprised if he helps bring more talent into NXT, or maybe he even helped the one person I've been looking at lately in Defiant Wrestling, the Asian sensation Kanji. So, hey, he's helping wrestling for the future. Good on him. I don't think he was needed to come back, though, for the Jinder Mahal spot with the Pajami Prison back at Battleground. But I digress. So, all the best to both men.
Unrelated, but Randy, when we do a future retro of that, Randy Orton could have won that match 3 times, but we're gonna talk about that a different day.
Yeah.
Then we had an all grown up vignette for the Divas, which kind of sucks, because this is when they just brought that Diva name on and stuff. So, yeah. Then we had some fun. I don't care what people say about the segment. I thought it was fun.
I loved it. Why do you think I'm wearing this?
Yeah, I'm talking about this. So we had the Crime Time dance party. So Crime Time feels bad for Eugene because he had his head shaved bald by Vince McMahon. We'll get into that. So they want to be nice and throw him a nice old-fashioned dance party with Extreme Expose, which it consisted of Kelly, Brooke, because she wasn't, the name she has now, and Layla L, I believe her name was at the time. So
correct.
And we think that he's gonna dance with the hot woman, but then Eugene just sees and he sees Fabulous Moolah and Mae Young, dressed like the same as them, and you have to hear that awesome record scratch, and he dances with them, and everyone just doesn't really know what to make of it. Everybody just starts dancing, and then Slick comes over and does like his typical stick and says that you guys need to break down the dance moves, and he starts dancing, and then Dusty Rhodes comes up and says, I damn sure know you guys aren't having a dance party without the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes.
He starts better and better and better, and more people join. No. Dragon Steamboat.
Yeah, that was awesome.
IRS man, Jimmy Hart, you keep naming names. I can't think straight right
Sergeant
now.
Slaughter. You saw the Stooges, Jerry Briscoe and Pat Patterson, and you saw Jerry Briscoe like doing the whole like Indian mockery thing, which was awesome. You saw Howard Finkel, Mean Gene Okerlund, and since you were on the show, I'll let you talk about what happens next.
And there's one thing I still look forward to, if nothing else, even in modern era WWE. And I'm so glad it happened at the freaking Hall of Fame last year. My highlight is this guy. Because when he comes up, I'm like, say it! Because everyone stops, everyone does nothing. He shows up, turns his face to the camera, the crowd's like, oh, and they're waiting for him. I'm like, okay, well, let me see if I can get in the I haven't laughed that far in years. WWE needs to learn how to do comedy again like that. Excuse me. All right. He shows up, I still basically like, damn! And then they just start
This
oh my god, I love Ron Simmons, by the way. And not just because of this shirt and that word, but when you know Ron Simmons is on your screen, you know it's a damn good moment.
This segment ruled. People could say this segment was goofy. No, this segment was awesome. If you hate this segment, then you don't like professional wrestling. This was
you
awesome.
Don't have a heart and you don't know how to laugh. Oh my god.
If we had segments like this year, because we're gonna need these type of segments at WrestleMania this year.
Oh, yeah, you're going to need a lot of this if you're going to survive, who's ever going. And good luck to Virtue and my friends in the Elite Wrestling Podcast, which I'll be doing soon as well, because they're going to see it live too. You're in for a long night, and unfortunately, it won't involve this guy, I think, or a damn moment, but it damn well should.
Yeah, that segment ruled.
Okay, to continue, I'm sorry.
You want to talk about the United States title match? It's going to take me a little bit to get.
Sure. So it was MVP versus Chris Benoit. Let me just say this. I know there was a lot of controversy, a lot of bad stuff going on during that year. I know he did an unspeakable horror thing after that, and we should not even be thinking about the guy because of that. I want to try and just look at the match because the match was a nice typical showcase. God don't like ugly. Rest in peace to his family. Why to do it, man? Why? I understand they told us why in an article, but it doesn't excuse what he did. That's humanly wrong, morally wrong. Yes, I'm Dr. Phil now. Yes, I'm going off the deep end. Yes, okay, screw you if you don't agree. But it needs to be talked about, okay? We went from funny to serious because it's serious. That was morally wrong. But anyway,
I just want to make it.
Yeah, let me just go over this match quick. Be free,
I want to say something real quick though. If everyone wondering, I wasn't laughing at that. I was still laughing about the dance.
Yeah, I know. Dude, I think everyone knows why we're laughing. Okay, I'm still smiling now thinking about it. Ron Simmons, please come out this year and say, "Damn, I need that. I need that now." Okay. So the match, MVP was Chris Benoit for the United States title. And again, Chris Benoit, he loves that title. He cherishes it. He cherishes wrestling. It is his life. MVP, he's one of the highest rated assignees SmackDown Live history, or not live back then. SmackDown history. And it was a nice back and forth bout. There was scissor lock, a float over through into a cloverleaf, and another side headlock. MVP maintained a lot of control throughout this match. He kind of allowed the move. There was sharpshooter to a crossface, but no, he got to the rope. There was a rope break. Go behind with a fireman carry into a headlock, armbar, another rope break. Both men jogging for position, jogging for control, okay? It seemed like neither man had advantage in this match. MVP, though, he hangs out him to dry because, he's the heel in this match. And then he works on the left arm because, as we know, one of the staples of the champ was the crossface, which, of course, uses the arms. So he was working on the arm, trying to weaken that. And then we get a cover, nothing special. There's a missed kick, and then he gets locked into 3 German suplexes, and then MVP, he goes for a suplex, gets one, and gets Benoit with a near fall, according to JBL. But JBL was high on MVP. Probably still is. Who knows? Then basically what happens here, we get roll up, another suplex to a cover. MVP, though, he gets a big boot on him, get another cover, nothing special. Benoit, He goes for the attempted. I just gotta say it. Okay. He goes for the attempted crossfade. Nope, that's a power slam, and then we get MVP with his ball in. I know that was horrible. Sorry. Ball and elbow into a cover. Nope, still didn't win. Then MVP goes for another boot, misses. He gets trapped in the suplex position again. Each two of them, but then there's a standing switch, and then we get 3 German suplexes. Then the match culminates, of course, with his big ace in the hole. And I still seem like, why do you go for this? I can't imagine how brutal this is, not only to your opponent, but to you. Diving headbutt straight to the heart of MVP, and the champ retains the title. 1, 2, 3. Decent match, nice technical showcase by both men, and 3 out of 5 for me.
Yeah, I thought this match was pretty good. I even like how MVP got like a nice big entrance with the cheerleaders and stuff like that, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, obviously the only criticism of the match is that now this has nothing to do with you know what I know now.
That's just on the night.
Yeah, but I think MVP should have gone over. It was his first WrestleMania. I feel like he should have won the United States title. It's not like he looked bad for losing though, you know. But I still think he should have gone over.
Well, eventually after that point, because you know as well as I do, there was a feud with Matt Hardy.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty good match. I gave it 3 1/4. I thought it was a pretty nice technical match.
Yeah, we know where one guy is, so let's drop that right now. MVP. He worked for a little while in Impact Wrestling, not only as a wrestler, but as a manager, even running the promotion, technically. And I thought it was a pretty fun run for a while. Then it got a little bit over-exaggerated until he started representing his boy, Bobby Lashley. And now he's doing indie stuff.
Yes. I think it also goes down to star rating because I just can't watch Chris Benoit do that. I know you say forget about it, but when you see him do that diving headbutt, you just can't forget about it. So
it is It is iconically connected to him. You're absolutely right. But like I said, I think that's the last time you'll ever hear that name again.
Yes. It was his last WrestleMania too, believe it or not. So
yes,
you wouldn't have guessed it when you watched this match. So
no, you wouldn't have guessed anything that happened after this, and I don't want to recall. All right, moving on. Your guy.
Then we had the all grown up thing for the Undertaker, which I actually like that one. It just is kind of funny to think that they were supposed to suspend our disbelief that the Undertaker was actually like that when he was a kid. But
well, I mean, I like the closing line. My first revengeance will never die.
That's what it's called.
Yeah.
And then we get a funny segment. Now, obviously, anybody can say what they want about Donald Trump, but I'll actually say something positive. He was very good on this show. I'll just say that.
I will say that too because I'm only going to look at the wrestling here, not politics.
Yeah. Donald Trump gets interrupted by the Boogeyman. He's backstage with, at the time, Miss USA. Correct. And he's on the phone, and, he's upset because he doesn't have any food, and he has, a crappy locker room and stuff. So then the Boogeyman's, music and smoke, and, the lighting gets all, weird. And he comes up and says, I believe he sings a song. I forget the song he was in. And
Oh, McDonald.
Yeah. And which obviously that makes sense because it's Donald Trump. So, and he tells Donald Trump, "I'm the Boogeyman. I'm not coming to get you." And Donald Trump's just saying on the phone, "You're never gonna believe this." And the Boogeyman says, "I'm the Boogeyman. I'm coming to get you." So Donald Trump says, "You know what? You could get me. You could get me some food. I'm hungry. Get me some food now. I want you to get it now." And the Boogeyman says, "I'm the Boogeyman, and I'm coming to get you some sandwiches." And I even like what Donald Trump says right after when he says, "Gee, what a place this is. This is a freak show, basically."
Donald Trump's the only person I know that can remain stoic around the Boogeyman. I didn't think that was possible.
I think too. What was the best part about this though is even though I feel like because of how Donald Trump is in real life, you could this segment just works. Especially to the way that Donald Trump reacted was kind of like the way we react in a way to WWE.
Well, I mean, and also commentary, Jerry can offer this over. I mean, hey, isn't it something? Donald Trump, he can cut a deal with anybody, and basically he did. He asked Boogeyman making sandwiches, even though Boogeyman came out back into his.
I don't know if I would trust the Boogeyman to make me a sandwich though. So.
Me neither. And we never learned what that sandwich was either. But then again, this is Donald Trump. If Boogeyman did that, he would not be fired. He'd be sued.
Yeah. And then, the best part, little Boogeyman comes over and Donald Trump just says, "Who the hell are you?"
Yep.
This segment ruled. And Boogeyman is basically retired, but he'll still do some like part-time appearances for WWE. I have no idea where Little Boogeyman is. I actually forgot to look that up. So we'll just say we're just gonna say he's chilling. So
yeah, good enough.
He's just chilling.
He's just chilling.
All right, and then we had the Hall of Fame, inductee segment where they all come out. The Hall of Fame inductees that year were Nick Bockwinkel, the Wild Samoans, the Original Sheik, Mr. Fuji, which, if you go watch No DQ Live, Aaron Rift had something to say about him. So, Jim Ross, Jerry the King Lawler, Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig, and Dusty Rhodes. The Original Sheik and Mr. Perfect weren't there because they had passed away. Mm-hmm. Nick Bockwinkel, is he still alive? I don't know if he is.
I have no idea.
I thought I saw something that he died, but I'm not. The Wild Samoans obviously are still alive.
Yeah, and they're still referenced when it comes to Roman Reigns because Paul Heyman used them in his last promo with Roman because they told me.
Yeah, Mr. Fuji, is he still alive?
I don't know actually. I haven't heard much about Mr.
I wouldn't.
We know the one guy died though, the Yamaguchi.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I just thought about the freaking. Never mind.
Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler. Jim Ross.
I was happy for Jim that year. That was a great video package. And then standing ovation. Jerry the King Lawler even said, "Let's hear it for good old JR." And they just gave him a standing ovation. Now JR, of course, he has Bell palsy, but you can tell how genuine he was, just grateful for this moment. I love Dusty, but that to me was probably my favorite inductee that year.
Yeah, Jim Ross is now commentating for AEW. Or gonna be commentating.
Talks, not official. Talks. We'll see what happens. And yes, I will be watching AEW and doing a review probably of AEW Double or Nothing with Team Indie DQ. So stay tuned for that, folks. We'll do a prediction for Double or Nothing as well. You also forgot to mention that was Lily Garcia that introduced Howard Finkel to introduce the WWE Hall of Fame class, because the very first thing that happened after the whole Hall of Fame recap from the previous night, I kind of miss those ceremonies. I feel like they're much better versus what they do now, and shorter too. They did. Lily Garcia mentioned the WrestleMania attendance record, 80,103.
And I think that's the fourth most attended WrestleMania in history. So
probably.
Because 32, at least what they tell us is the most, but I don't think it is.
101,000 or whatever. You broke the AT&T Stadium attendance record, which of course is what they wanted to go for. Still can't believe that. Good Lord Almighty.
Yeah, that would be a different retro we'll talk about. If I ever feel like it. And then Lawler is, basically a part-time commentator. The most recent event he commentated was this year's Royal Rumble. I imagine he's coming out to commentate a match at WrestleMania this year. So
you're going to have to do something to get the people awake during some stuff. And we all know Vince relies more on the past versus the present and the future. And that's why WrestleMania, in my opinion, will be the least lackluster show of the entire weekend, because I'm going to be watching the G1 Supercard and NXT TakeOver New York. Both those shows combined could be the same length potentially as WrestleMania and still will do better.
Yeah. And Dusty Rhodes, unfortunately, has passed away in 2015.
But thank you, Dusty, for everything you did in ensuring the future with NXT. God bless you.
Then we had, and obviously this is my time, because we obviously have an unwritten agreement that I get to talk.
I already told you. As soon as we got to this, it was you. Don't forget to mention the poll, though, because back then they actually talked about their official wireless partner for WrestleMania, AT&T.
Which I'm on that cell phone plan, so. Yeah, so they did a poll saying who they thought was going to win at WrestleMania. And I forget the percentage. I don't know if you wrote it down.
I did. 18% Batista. Now, I don't think it takes a mathematician to figure out what an Undertaker is, but I'll say it anyway. Not that I'm calling anyone dumb. 82% Undertaker. And guess what? I didn't have ATT at that time, but I voted for Undertaker too.
Yeah. I think
you can't go against the streak.
Let's talk about the match and the build-up. So the match is World Heavyweight Championship match. World Heavyweight Champion Batista versus The Undertaker.
Yep.
This feud comes off because in 2007, The Undertaker won the Royal Rumble match. And as everybody knows, since, the 1993 Royal Rumble, if you won the Royal Rumble match, unless it was Wrestlemania, unless it was 2016, or, any WrestleMania before that, you got to
that one, please.
You got to choose the champion you wanted to fight for at WrestleMania. And that year there was 3 options because they were trying to make ECW, a more prominent world title at the time.
Yep.
And I really liked it that they did it. They even had Undertaker show up on all 3 shows, wondering what he was going to go after. They did the big segment on Raw. Was Undertaker going to go after John Cena? Was he going to go after Bobby Lashley? Was he going to go after Batista? And who did he choose? Well, obviously we know who he chose. He chose Batista. He comes up, does like the slight throw right in his face, and lays him out with a choke slam.
Yep.
And then Batista said, "Payback is a bitch. When, where, that's my business." So then we had No Way Out, 2007. It was Undertaker and Batista versus John Cena and Shawn Michaels. And Batista turned on The Undertaker and screwed him over. And, I obviously like that line by JBL when he says, "Batista says payback's a bitch, well, I guess the hell it is."
And also, Batista kept driving this line. He was honored, but he also will not be intimidated.
And, I really like this feud. If you watched the March Madness episode I did with my friend Chris Dodd a few days ago, this was like one of the first feuds I ever saw in wrestling because the first segment I saw ever of wrestling was the Undertaker Batista stuff. So, you have, Batista who said he's not going to be intimidated. Batista wanted to be the one to beat the streak. He didn't want to just win by count out or disqualification. He wanted to pin and all make Undertaker submit. I think he said pin, though, because
pinfall. He wanted to win by pinfall.
Well, I would think you would want to win by submission, too, because if you make the Undertaker tap out, then, Well,
the thing is, Batista is not a submission specialist. You know as well as I do. He goes for pins.
Yeah.
Batista bomb, you're done.
Yeah. And, Undertaker, though, said that he doubt that Batista was intimidated. And Undertaker talked about how he fought the best. He's beaten the best, and, he's fought everyone there was a fight. And, they had that final segment on SmackDown where they did a pull-apart brawl before they did them, like every single week on the today. So, where Batista laid him out again. And basically, like, the feud tells itself. It's the Animal versus the Phenom. It's Batista versus the Undertaker. Batista wants to beat the streak, and it's just a hell of a storyline. It's an awesome storyline, and I believe NoDQ.com voted this the rivalry of the year in 2007. I don't think Wrestling Observer did because I think it went to like some New Japan feud or something. So I'll actually look that up real quick.
Because I can talk about at least the entrances because I know you got to play on the match. And it was Teddy Long, actually, which is an interesting change of pace, that introduced both the competitors. Now, honestly, I think I would have had rather Justin Roberts because he has more emphasis on the names. Teddy Long's like, "The Undertaker! The Animal! Batista!"
Well, is anyone really going to complain, though, that, like, Teddy Long is going to say The Undertaker? Everyone loves to hear that, so...
Well, I mean, how many times does Teddy Long want to say that you are going to go one-on-one with The Undertaker? There's 2 things Teddy Long always do have to plug. An Undertaker match and holla, tag team match, players. And
okay,
so one of my favorite GMs of all time.
This is actually interesting. On the Wrestling Observer, Batista and Undertaker did win Feud of the Year. So.
Oh wow! Okay.
So there you go. But yeah, love the entrances. Undertaker would come out with his ruins. Because he would do that every year at WrestleMania, and he even came out like I can't really explain this, but like it was like a shadowy figure at first, where it's like shown like as if like they open the door and like the gates of hell are about to come right after you. So.
And the silhouette and the lights and the smoke effect, brilliant entrance.
Yeah. And then the match happens, and the match is awesome.
Go for
However, I do have a criticism. It's not about the match; it's about where it's on the code. Because no way this match should have gone as early as it did on the code. If it was me, I would have switched the Battle of the Billionaires match with this match. They should have, been switched because, but that's just my opinion.
Interesting.
I just think, like this was the Undertaker won the Royal Rumble match, and he's going. I just think it's poor card structuring because I feel like I would like this show a lot. This show would be in the A range if this match had been later on in the show. But that's just my opinion. Well, let's get to the match.
Yeah.
The bell rings, and immediately,
Ding!
no lockup, no nothing. Batista just immediately spears the Undertaker almost out of his shoes, which I really like that. That was a hell of an intense way to start off this matchup. And Batista just starts off this matchup really aggressive. He lays out the Undertaker with clothesline and just fires away at him with right hands and throws him into the steps twice.
Stoic face, by the way, during the entire time of the Undertaker entrance, and how they were talking about how the first thing Undertaker does, he gets in your mind, fear is his game, as JBL put him over as one of the greatest people he's ever been, the greatest person he's ever been in the ring with. But Undertaker, he already gets to you his entrance, because the Undertaker entrance takes forever. That ramp, man, and Undertaker and Batista just looking at him stoically, not even staring. So no hesitation as soon as the bell rings, just swipe him out.
And then, Undertaker mounts a comeback. He hits the Snake Eyes, Big Boot, and leg drop all after each other. He goes for the choke slam, but Batista powers out of the choke slam. And, Undertaker and Batista continue to fight. Undertaker lets the flying clothesline, throws Batista on the outside, bounces him head first off the steps, throws him into the barricade, hits the guillotine leg drop, which I love the way Batista showed it, by the way, where he just falls right off the apron.
He slumped off because he was on the apron, too. Nowhere to go.
Yeah. And then Undertaker hits his yearly WrestleMania dive, which, obviously...
Over the top rope, clearing it like nothing.
He throws Batista again into the barricade, and then he goes to throw Batista into the, timekeeper's area, but Batista reverses, and Undertaker goes into, steel chairs. And like I said, Batista right here probably could have taken the count-out win, but he didn't want to. He wanted to win decisively.
And another note about the timekeeper area here, no barricade in front of it. It was just a table.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. And then Batista bounces Undertaker's head off the table, bounces him again off a chair, but because he didn't actually physically use the steel chair, it's not a disqualification.
Correct.
Then he hits a running power slam through the ECW announce table. Because what did you think? He was going to go through the Raw or SmackDown announce table? No. And then he puts the Undertaker in the win, but because Batista took a little too long to get him in the win, Undertaker ended up kicking out. And then Batista dominates the match again. He hits a flying shoulder tackle off the second turnbuckle. Undertaker kicks out of that. Batista hits the running strikes into the corner, but Undertaker hits the last ride. Batista kicks out of that. Undertaker hits the old school in this match. Then he goes for the choke slam, hits it. Batista kicks out, and then Batista hits the spine buster, and he sets up with a Batista bomb. But this time Undertaker sits up, which was obviously very significant because no one's ever set up from Batista's spine buster like that. So they both exchange punches with each other. Then Undertaker hits the choke slam. Batista kicks out again. Then Batista hits the Batista bomb. Undertaker kicks out.
Before that one, but yeah.
And then the Undertaker Irish whips Batista into the turnbuckle, hits the Tombstone Piledriver, gets the win, and leaves with the World Heavyweight Championship, which is the first time since WrestleMania 13 he left WrestleMania with the world title, and it was 10 years prior to this one. Great match, 4.5 stars. It would be higher, but because of its positioning on the card, it goes down a star rating for me. Had it been higher on the card, it would have been 4 3/4, but still a great match. And I really enjoy this match. And obviously something I want to say, I really like this match also. because, you know, I feel like nowadays when it comes to wrestling, every match is just structured the same. Every match on this show had its own distinct style and felt different. Whereas today, every match just feels the same, and people just hit the same moves with each other, which gets kind of boring half the time. But I really like this match. Obviously, the aftermath came is they weren't done yet. They continued feuding in 2007. They had the Last Man Standing match and Steel Cage matches on both Backlash and SmackDown, where they both wrestled to a draw. And then, you know, obviously that's when Edge got inserted into the feud and, you know, cashed in the Money in the Bank on The Undertaker. Batista would have, like, his quest to go for the world title and eventually won it at Unforgiven. And then they restarted the feud. Batista finally beat The Undertaker at Cyber Sunday. Then they had the supposed blow-off match at Survivor Series, where Batista won again because of Edge. They had a triple threat match at Armageddon, and, you know, they were the final two in the Elimination Chamber match that year and No Way Out. And the first two, actually. They went the whole match. And then they had, like, you know, one final blow-up match and an ODQ match on SmackDown. And then when Batista turned heel, they did the feud again in a chairs match, but I don't want to talk about that match because that match is trash. And then they haven't feuded since. Batista left WWE in 2010 after his a great heel one with the WWE title. And then he returned in 2014, but then that one didn't really go over very well, so he left. And he returned again, and thus far that one's kind of going right now. But, you know, we'll talk about that on the rundown tomorrow. So.
Well, I will say this. I feel like Undertaker's last great match was against CM Punk. There,
yeah. Undertaker 2 was this is probably, like, one of the best, you know, showings, one of the best looks Undertaker ever had. Like, he had one of his best years in ring wise and just everything, and probably 2007 up to 2000, you know, probably, like, you know, 2009, you know, WrestleMania, maybe even 2010 with the WrestleMania.
2010. I mean, you know, it was a good year.
Yeah, I mean, he's had other very good showings, but he was looking awesome in 2000 around this time frame, just updating his move set and everything. Winning, you know, just world titles, having awesome feuds. So, Undertaker, believe it or not, we don't know what the future of the Undertaker is in WWE wise, anyways. Because WrestleMania is coming up and he hasn't been announced for a match or anything yet like that. He's gonna, you know, he's doing some outside WWE appearances where he's actually kind of breaking character now, and he's going to be at Starrcast during Double or Nothing weekend. So very interesting time to be an Undertaker fan right now. And like I said, I say it all the time. I said it on What 205 Live Matters. He's always watching. Your thoughts on this match, Noah, and your star rating?
I enjoyed the match. I mean, you can't go wrong with The Undertaker. There was a great story here. It was about the streak, but it was also about Batista proving that he's not intimidated. He shows no fear, but he also can't be stopped. But he respects The Undertaker and wanted to get it done with no controversy and no second guessing. He wanted to get it done in the ring. In the end, I ended up buying him, though, because, again, after Undertaker had the Batista bomb, what else did Batista have after that? Another one from the top rope, and that was never going to happen. So I felt like the result was fitting. The match was carried well. I love the ambient lighting and the way he just carried the towel back up to the entranceway into the darkness. I love the aftermath afterwards and the aftermath matches. That Backlash one where they both went off the set and everything fell down. There was electrocution, stuff like that, allegedly. That was a lot of fun, too. This match was really great. Thinking about what you're saying, though, about placing the card, because, let's see, didn't do the Lumberjill match, didn't do the ECW match yet, didn't do Battle of the Billionaires yet, and I think that's really all that was left on this show, if I remember correctly.
You forgot the 8-man tag, too.
Oh, yeah. 8-man tag. Yeah, I guess it kind of makes sense, because you're not going to have the WWE Championship versus Heavyweight Championship match back-to-back, and there's literally only 2 matches before this. So, yeah, I'm kind of going to go with you on this one. 4.5 is low for me. And we know what Batista's doing this year. Some people are into it. Some people are like, I'm over this. No holds barred against Triple H, who has not won a WrestleMania, I might add, since WrestleMania 29. Oh, no, scratch that, 31, but that was a spot fest.
Yes. All right, then we had an all-grown-up vignette with Bobby Lashley. Then we had Mr. McMahon playing with his granddaughter, which was very creepy. It's pretty much a Vince McMahon segment.
He got Trump.
Yeah. You could totally tell that there was no baby in that carriage either. So
yeah, unless you're gonna cause baby mental anxiety for the rest of their life, there's no way in hell there was a baby in that carriage.
yeah, but you could tell too because it wasn't making any noise. The camera
No.
was literally in the thin, and if you leave a camera with a baby, it's not going to just sit still like that. So
no, I don't know who does that either. That's weird.
Yeah. WrestleMania 24 announcement that it was in Florida. And then, actually, I jumped ahead a little bit. I completely missed the 8-man tag team match. ECW, my bad. ECW Originals versus the New Breed. The ECW Originals consisted of the Sandman, Rob Van Dam, Tommy Dreamer, and Sabu. The New Breed consisted of Kevin Thorne, with Ariel inside, Matt Striker, Marcus Corvon, and Elijah Burke.
Yep.
Basically, the build was it was a new school versus old school match, based, hence the name of the groups. The New Breed thought they were the new school way of doing ECW, and the ECW Originals didn't want to give up their spot. So, basically, I mean, that's an ECW feud in 2007. What did you want? So, one plot hole I didn't like is that Taz was all for the New Breed's attitude, which doesn't make any sense because everybody on like the ECW Originals are supposedly supposed to be like Taz's friends, and he's not sticking up for him. And you could say, well, it's just Taz being a heel, but Taz wasn't a heel commentator, so it made no sense.
Nope.
I did like that the ECW Originals came out to like the original ECW theme song. I thought that was pretty cool.
And they came out to the crowd too. Yeah,
that was pretty cool. This match, though, filler. I mean, I hate saying that, but it's really just filler. They dominate Tommy Dreamer for a while, and I feel like this didn't really play into the ECW Original strength because this should have been like a hardcore match because they're known for doing hardcore stuff, and you're just putting them in there in a traditional 8-man tag team match, and it just
goes back to Vince McMahon trying to assimilate the ECW product more like his product, and how commentary was like, oh, Vince thinks everything about the original ECW absolutely sucked, and he fully supports the New Breed.
Yeah.
Which, of course, was led by Elijah Burke, while the originals were led by RVD.
Yeah. So, RVD gets the hot tag on Matt Striker. Obviously, Matt Striker doesn't get like any offense in, so good for him. Everybody gets into a brawl. RVD beats Matt Striker with the 5-star frog splash, and that was that. You could say maybe the young guys should have gone over. I can understand that, but I completely disagree with that. Just because ECW was being booked so badly at this time that I feel like they deserve to have at least this moment. For one night, even though it was a very lesser degree, ECW got to have their moment and actually feel like it was like a big deal with them going over and stuff. Fortunately, though, it didn't last long because once Backlash happens, that was the end of ECW being anything credible. But
yep.
Yeah, kind of sucked. We didn't get an ECW title match on this show. We probably should have had like an ECW title match with something involving CM Punk, but we didn't get that. So yeah, this match gets 2 stars, but in my heart, it gets like 1 because of what it did to ECW. But
you're just showing respect for the originals. I mean, yeah, there wasn't much to this match. What? Sabu got 1 spot in. He started up in Sandman, leg drop. There's a DDT neck breaker. Rolling monkey flip was definitely. I mean, yeah, pretty much after the DDT neck breaker, this was nothing but Tommy Dreamer getting the daylight being down by the New Breed to a dead audience. The biggest thing was RVD. Rolling monkey flip. Matt Striker goes flying. Rolling Thunder, top rope kick with Corbin. He clotheslines the hell. And Corbin was the only one in the New Breed that seemed legitimate, in my opinion, and probably could make the most out of ECW, if not survive after ECW. But he didn't. And then Sabu goes on the top rope. Dreamer DDT. That stance. Burke takes him out. Sandman, he messily goes over the top rope, takes him out. And then we get the 5-star front smash, like you said. Cover on Matt Striker. How appropriate. 1, 2, 3, they win. And then the only highlight after this, Joey Styles. Oh my God! And that's literally it. Game over.
Kind of an undeserved oh my God, though. So.
Yeah, but hey, Joey Styles, that's one of the biggest things iconic, about him as a commentator during this. He tried to show excitement, but I could tell he really didn't care about this either. And as far as where he is, he's off the grid, brother. As far as my match rating on this, yeah, I gotta go with you too.
Yeah. Then we, as for everybody is They were basically all out of the company by this at the end of the year.
Touch.
Sabu and Sandman and LVD were all out of the company. Not even by the end of the year, by the summertime.
Yeah, but here's the thing though. At least I do get to watch Sabu and RVD face the Lucha Brothers in a dream match at United We Stand, presented by Impact during WrestleMania week. So I know that's what's coming up for them.
And then Tommy Dreamer is he'll occasionally work Impact Wrestling shows.
Well, he runs his own promotion too, House of Hardcore.
Yeah. And
Sandman's still drinking. I got to see Sandman live at a recent indie show. Support your local indie wrestling, folks. At Extreme Cast Wrestling. Got an autograph from him too. I asked him one question. I asked him, what's the toughest son of a bitch you've ever been in the ring with? He said, Big Show, because when you feel that chop, that goes straight down your body all the way to your feet.
And then the New Breed, none of them lasted much longer. Matt Striker really wasn't much wrestling all that much. He was just basically losing, and then he would transition to a commentator, then was released from the company, and now he commentates AAA, Lucha Underground, and things like that.
Sometimes New Japan Pro Wrestling as well.
Yeah. Marcus Corvon was out of the company. I think he's working indie shows now. I think he just retired. I don't know. Kevin Thorne. So I might have dreamed this. Didn't they repackage him and then he just was released right after he was repackaged and now he's working indie shows too?
I honestly have no idea.
Yeah. And then Elijah Burke lasted like another year and then he was released and he went. Yeah, he's in TNA now. No, he's not in TNA. He went and worked for TNA for a long ass time.
Wait, wasn't he the Pope in TNA, I think?
Yeah, he was.
Okay, yeah, he gone. The last time he was in Impact was when it was commentary with Josh Matthews.
Yeah.
I don't what he's doing now.
And then Ariel is also working indie shows, so
good for her.
Whoop-de-doo. I already talked to all going up with Stone Cold Steve Austin vignette. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. I'll let you talk. Yeah. I'll let you talk about the build-up and everything going into the Battle of the Billionaires match.
Sure. And yeah, you're talking about how they hyped up WrestleMania 24. It's going to be at Orlando and the Citrus Bowl next year, blah, blah, blah. And then we finally get to the match that pretty much made probably it the most profitable, if not mentionable, worth looking into by everybody imaginable, even if you aren't a WWE fan. The Battle of the Billionaires. Vince is here and Donald Trump. Each one picked their own elite athlete to see who could keep their billionaire out of the barber's chair. And Access has the entire story. And then they go into how this is built. There was a press conference in the Trump Towers, and everybody has a pick in that. The Rock says, you will get your head shaved bald, Vince, at WrestleMania. Bunch of celebrities. I don't even remember half the names. It was like William Shatner, some females, blah, blah, blah. I don't keep up with TV. Sorry, sue me. And then, yeah, they basically hyped up how each man picked their guy. Vince McMahon, me! It's a Kenny McMahon, a handsome son of a bitch. And the fact, this is all brought together after Donald Trump dropped money, basically Trump McMahon giving everybody that night on Vince Appreciation Night cash. And basically they came together and Trump proposed a question. If you lose, I get to shave your head. And next thing you know, it was made official. But anyway, build into this. So each man, they pick the representative. Vince picks MAGA. And Donald Trump picks my pick, the ECW champion, Bobby Lashley. Now, of course, Vince, he's doing everything he can to destroy Bobby Lashley up to this point, whether it's on ECW or Raw. Put him in these crazy, impossible matches, handicaps, having Umaga attack him. Umaga getting the best of Bobby at every turn. At one point, he literally spears his way off a steel cage door, drops the steel cage door on top of Umaga. I thought it was a really incredible spot. One of my biggest highlights from the new ECW. And then eventually it just got so volatile. A third person had to come into play to maintain control. And at first, Vince thought it was going to be one of his representatives. Shane comes out and says, we lost the vote. Who is it? Glass shatters. Stone Cold Steve Austin, who knows a thing or two about being bald. And he basically guarantees there will be a bald billionaire. Both men, they come down to contract signing. And Vince basically gets pushed over a table by Donald Trump. Just sits on his ass. Both men, they have the little vignettes of what each other will look bald. And here we are. And then the funny thing about this match, the first fun thing about this match, a barbershop, mobile moving barbershop, gets its own entrance.
That was awesome.
Derek's like, oh, the only thing we're missing at this point is like barbershop quartet. Then Miz comes out, and then we get Umaga, who at this time is the Intercontinental Champion and was practically undefeated before losing to John Cena at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. Again, they're trying storylines. Vince, he had a John, and James going against John, and all that type of stuff. And then following this, we get the beauty queens basically slashing off Vince like, you're going to lose, don't want to see you win, blah, blah, blah. And then we get what has become, I guess you could say, the official theme for the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, the one theme that hasn't changed, apparently. Money, 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 money. And we just get that over and over again because it's Donald Trump. And what happens during the show? $100 bills only dropping from the sky as he's accompanied by former Miss USA at that time. And then there's Miss USA, Miss Universe, Miss Teen USA. They're all, cheering and stuff like that for Donald Trump. And then we get Bobby Lashley coming out, who's ECW at the time. Umaga at one point, they come to him with this intimidating look, basically about how he just wants to destroy Bobby Lashley. And then we get our referee, probably the biggest pop of the night, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Arise, wave, hell, leave. And he does his typical stiff and stuff, and basically he gets both winners of the ring. Trump, Trump showing no emotion, just, with that stoic smile, like, get out of the ring, Trump. And like, okay. So, ding, ding, the match gets on, and literally both men, they lock up, or try to lock up each other, and both men go out there like, wah! And Bobby Lashley, who said, like, no words during this time, he just does that taunt where he just, holds his hands up like that. And, yeah, both men go at each other. There's a corner attack. Austin, though, he said, like he says, not going to take no bull crap. There will be winner, there will be a loser. He got involved when both men did not listen to his authority, fortunately causing a break. And at one point, Bobby just staring at him with this intent look. But no, next thing you know, we get an airborne shoulder block, which I don't know if Bobby Lashley ever did that before. And then we got our first cover, but Armando Alejandro Estrada, he put Umaga's foot on the rope, and that was his undoing. Because Bobby notices that, and as Stone Cold was talking to Armando, he's like, what are you doing? You're not supposed to be doing something. Bobby really pulls him in, forces him in, like, no. Cubans go flying. He goes over the top rope. It's a power slam. Gets front of the ring. He's done the entire match. And Umaga tries to come up after Bobby. And Bobby, very rare, he pulls the rope down. Umaga just crashes and burns. Falls ass first on the floor. Close to 400 pounds, I think they said. That was a nasty thud. And then basically we get, Bobby, he eventually gets, hey, Control-C, Control-V. He does the same thing, but Umaga basically puts him off to the side, and Bobby plants to the floor. Trump saying, shake it off, Bobby, shake it off. We get a splash into a cover. Nope. Then Stone Cold, he force breaks on Umaga out of the hole, pulling on his hair like, ah!
That was
and
funny.
basically, we get a Samoan drop after that. And then Lashley attempts to lift up Umaga and fails. And that's a cover almost. And Bobby, he inadvertently knocks Vince off, where Vince is on the apron at this time. He looks like he's selling his back. He's an old man. And then next thing you know, Shane, we get, Umaga gets thrown off the top rope. And we get a hell of a clothesline. Both men down. He's counting both men. And as soon as he gets to 9, nothing. Walks around. Vince like, and he's like, no count outs. There's going to be no count outs. Next thing you know, Shane comes out. He checks on his father. Stone Cold, though, he keeps on the match going, but Umaga will do his authority at times, so he got forced to pull him off. Shane gets involved. He's like, what are you doing? Like, get on the apron. And next thing you know, clap, he eats a Samoan spike, drops him hard. He's out of the match for a while. And then Shane causes a distraction, and basically it's 2-1 assault. Shane attacks Bobby Lashley, trying to get Umaga up. He does his punches. He does his little shuffle, all that stuff. Bobby with the look of pure anger and hatred. I thought he was about to suplex him over the freaking curls out of the ring. Umaga comes in, saves Shane. Eventually, it's Vince's show, so Vince got to run it. We get a trash can out after an ass blast, of course, from Umaga. And Vince goes coast to coast. And then Shane reveals under his shirt, as he's unbuttoning his collar in his shirt, he's wearing a red shirt. So then he has Umaga go for a splash. Umaga hits it. Shane goes for the count. Stone Cold pulls him out, opens the can of whoop ass, takes him out, gives him the double bird, goes back in the ring, eats another spike. basically, Trump's like, what's going on over here? And basically, Vince is talking to Stone Cold like, I told you. And then of all things to happen, really, this was going to happen? I mean, I can understand a point, but really, Trump takes down Vince and punches him basically in the head with a few elbow strikes that probably didn't touch. And he's like, the hostile takeover of Vince McMahon has happened at WrestleMania 23. Good old JR. And basically, Vince is down pretty much for the rest of the match. And Trump, he just walks back with that stoic face right around the corner to the crowd's adulation, it seemed. And then basically we get Stone Cold being picked up by Umaga, goes for the and spike. Stone Cold dodges it, and basically he stuns Umaga, lashes with the spear, cover, 1, 2, 3. Trump's man wins. He's like, yeah! Vince gets the cellularization, like, what? And the guy in the front were like, hey, you're about to look like this, you're about to look like this. That couple was insanely funny, if they are a couple. And basically, following this, Stone Cold, he just locks eyes on Vince, and he puts him in the ring, and basically, like, you made a deal. You lost. You're getting your head shaved. Oh, Shane comes in for the save, though, beats Stone Cold a little bit, and then Stone Cold loved it. He takes him down, beats the death out of him, gives the birds, drops the elbows, and then drops Shane with a stunner. And then everyone's just celebrating, but Vince slowly crawls away. Jared's like, where's Mr. Man go? And literally, Vince slowly crawls and then slowly just jogs his way up the ramp. Trump, Bobby, and Stone Cold see this happening, and they're like, and then Vince's like, and he's like, he's not saying how, he's saying goodbye. And Trump's like, get out of here. And then Bobby, running like a madman, catches Vince and basically captures him, thumb up from the Donald, and basically Stone Cold, he gives him a stunner, and he is locked in the barber's chair as Stone Cold, Vince, and Bobby shave him bald. It was Vince McMahon's real hair all alone. And eventually we get bald-headed blues play during this while Stone Cold is just drinking a beer. And then eventually they put shaving cream way too much on his head at this point, and just shave him bald. Vince's like, don't do this to me. You're going to make me look like a flunky. Damn it, no. And he's like crying. And then eventually goes into pure rage, like, I'll never forget this. I'll never forget this. Damn it. And then basically when they're finally done, he's like crying, whining, and Trump tells Bobby, show him the mirror, Bobby. Bobby shows it to him, all right, and Vincent falls backwards, like, get me out of here, and then slowly slumps away, and his hair just sits in the ring. Everyone celebrates, and commentators just putting this over, seem to love this. Oh, by the way, at one point, like, JR, you should be smiling. Are you smiling at this? Like, I can't really smile. I got told Bob that I can't smile. I know JR was probably loving this. And then following this, Vince keeps up the brand. We get some replays. They talk about the hair. Hey, you lose a battle of billionaires, you lose your hair. If you have Vince and hair in the WrestleMania pool, you lose. And basically, we end with, Fear Bash for all three men. And then the most awkward stunner ever delivered. And they're like, a stunner on Donald. That's better than alimony. That's a real hostile takeover. He leaves, drinks a beer, arrives, ready to leave. The Battle of Billionaires officially ends. Damn! What a fucking segment. And what a match. The match, I mean, what can you say? It showcased both men for their strength. Stone Cold, he was there. Everyone loved it. The McMahons, they played their tricks. Trump assaults McMahon. McMahon gets shaved bald. Trump gets stunned. I honestly did not hate this one bit. I loved everything about it. It's a 4.75 for me, and we obviously know where all four men are. Bobby, still there. Umaga, rest in peace, brother. Vince, still in the company. Shane, still in it. He recently came back WrestleMania 32. And Donald Trump, Lord help us, is the president of our country. And Stone Cold doing his own thing. Podcast.
Yeah.
Your rating.
I thought this was a good segment and everything. I thought everything flowed well. I give it 3. I thought it was entertaining stuff, good stuff.
His shaved ball was probably my highlight. So I'm like, oh wow.
Yeah.
Exactly. You remember how Jerry saying, you ever notice how big Vince's ears are? I beg your pardon. The commentary made me laugh. There was moments that made me laugh. That's why I was more generous here. But yeah, now that I figure about it, Trump's the fucking president of the United States. I didn't want to bring politics, that's why I am. 4.25 for me.
Okay. I also, I do wonder if this storyline happened today, if Trump would be the one getting booed and Vince would be the one getting cheered. Because
I don't know. And by the way, the following night, which is also why I'm being generous, we all saw what happened the following night. He came out in like the most odd hat possible. But wait, before this, so we see Vince off camera talking to Coach, who was like his assistant during the time, and he's like, "I'm going out to the ring. I'm gonna check out all these people. I hate drama. I hate laughing. I'm gonna." And then who comes up? So Ron. Damn! And by the way, Eugene and Crime Time were also there like, what the hell are you laughing at? You better not laugh, you freaking idiot. And then the lady's like, oh, hello, lady. All right. I'm going to try some with you real quick, all right? Okay. How do I look? Yeah, really good. All right. Okay, you two have a good night. I know I went out of order, but you get the idea. He comes out wearing this hat, and basically he reverses the decision. Lily Garcia says, the winner of the Battle of the Billionaires, Vincent Kenny McMahon. And this hat has been surgically glued to my head. And it will not come off until my hair grows back. My doctor says, you know what, Vince? You're going to have stronger hair than ever. Thank you very much. Have a good night, everybody. And then who comes out to that salt to the wound? Bobby Lashley himself. No words, but Vince, pure anger and hatred, about to punch like. And basically, he rips the hat off at the Mr. Punch and was like, oh my God, it's got blood in his head, bloody. He does everything to try and hide his head, from grabbing the towel to grabbing the King's crown to grabbing JR's hat. Get my hat. JR, of course, being hoarse, by the way, from the previous night. And eventually, he goes into the ring apron. Bobby just making sure everybody gets that picture out of somebody with their phones, trying to get the picture. Then he goes to the middle of the ring and basically finds sanctuary or security under Lillian's skirt. And it was like, he's safe. And Bobby's like, oh, okay. I was like, what? Oh! Oh my God! Oh, and you heard nothing but wolves and whistling and like, Bobby! Oh my God. It was like, okay, and Mitch just got on the way, just grabbing at his hair, like, oh. And Lillian, poor Lillian. So that's the reason, okay? I'm thinking about the post angle too, because that Raw segment was gold, backstage and in the ring. Poor Lillian. So that's why politics. It's a 4.25 for me. Now we can move on.
One flaw too out of this is we got Vince McMahon as ECW champion out of this too, though.
Well, I wasn't trying to think that far because, yeah, you're right, that did happen. But again, that night WrestleMania and the following Monday night was more than enough for me to give this entire story match culmination segment overall at least 4 stars. You know what? Just 4 stars. 4 out of 5. Final grade overall. 4 out of 5. Woo!
Yeah, I'll give it 3. I was entertained.
Okay.
Then we had All Grown Up vignette with John Cena.
You never too small to dream big.
And then it showed the recap of the dog match, which I already talked about.
Yep.
Then we had the Lumberjill match for the Women's Championship. Women's Champion Melina versus Ashley. The Lumberjills were... Okay, here it is.
There's a number of classics, and then there's like, oh, I barely remember this one.
Let's see if you remember them. Obviously, you remember Extreme Expose being Brooke, Layla, and Kelly.
Yes.
What great talents they were. Just kidding. Candice Michelle, Jillian Hall, Crystal Marshall, Maria, Michelle McCool, Mickey James, Troy Wilson, Trinity, who I didn't even know who that was until I saw this match.
Yeah, I honestly had to remind myself, like, I don't remember Trinity at all.
Yeah, and Victoria. Those are the great Lumberjills in this match.
I might add way less names than the men's.
Yes, because they didn't have as many roster spots at the time.
Well, we all know how they treated women back then.
Yeah. So, reason for this match, well, one, they needed a women's match, so they went with these two. Ashley just, became like the photo thing of the front page of Playboy.
Yes, and they showed the cover off and exploded confetti.
Yeah, which I don't really understand. This, because in my opinion, I didn't really think she was all that good looking, but that's a different topic. So Melita was jealous that she wasn't getting the. Can you imagine today that being a feud? Like they were upset you didn't get to pose for Playboy.
They want edgier content on SmackDown. Could happen. But then again, traded company, highly unlikely in all likelihood. Just be fair when you still get swimsuit pics.
Yeah.
If you're into that stuff.
So that was basically the feud. Really, nothing special. The match, it really wasn't much of a match.
I got 4 things here. Let's see. Submission hold, monkey flip, starstruck, roll through with bridge. Melina wins. At least she didn't scream at the top of her lungs, and then we get a brawl with all the Lumberjills, and then JBL claims he had the greatest call of all time with Lumberjill Pandemonium. I will say this, too, about the WrestleMania set. Nice little things they did with it, like you noticed during the championship matches, the ECW matches, this matches, it was like pink or red or gold, based on the type of match. So it was nice presentation, but this match was just pointless filler.
It was crap.
Yeah.
Ashley sucks.
Yeah.
I think she did.
Now, I will say this. Again, it was a different time. They didn't know how to respect women wrestling back then. Being a lifelong fan of wrestling, I didn't always just rely on WWE. I've seen women wrestling during that time that was good outside that company. But again, maybe some of the women, I'm sure some of the women want to do something better than this. So I'm going to try and be a little generous. Okay, 1.5.
Half a star. I'm not being generous.
Yeah.
They should have just booked a cruiserweight match here, honestly.
Yeah, I completely agree. And hey, some of the women, they're still in WWE and some are not. And one's going into the Hall of Fame for...
Yeah. Did you freeze or are you...
No, you help me here.
Okay.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Yeah, I got nothing. Yeah.
All right, so why don't we talk about where they all are? Go for it.
All right. So Ashley is she actually left in real life because her daughter got sick or something. But
right.
She worked like one more indie show. Actually, I think Cindy was at that show. Actually, I might be thinking of somebody else.
I know she's seen Tara Valkyrie a number of times, but anyway, I'll figure out Ashley later. Hopefully, she's doing some good stuff for her life. Moving on.
Went to Impact for a while, and then now she's basically retired because she just had a kid and stuff like that. Candice Michelle is retired because she has neck issues, but she had one more match recently, and then now she's wants to raise a family.
Oh.
Jillian Hall's in the Indies. Kelly is basically retired, but shows up every now and then.
She showed up at the Royal Rumble, okay? I'm surprised with all the nostalgia they did for the first ever WWE All Women's Royal Rumble. They didn't get Jillian Hall. But then again, I'm glad, because you know what that would have meant? We would have heard her sing.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Crystal Michelle is married to Bobby Lashley and is retired. Layla's retired. Maria is basically only wrestling every now and then, so...
And her husband is with her in 205 Live. Hashtag 205 Live Matters. She's basically his manager.
And now she's the first lady of professional wrestling, so... Man, what improvement Maria had from back then. So.
Oh, yeah.
Michelle McCool is married to The Undertaker, and she's not wrestling anymore. Like I said, only was brought back for Royal Rumble appearances.
You know, I wonder if any of the women, because Michelle McCool, to her credit, she had a pretty darn good showing in that Rumble.
Yeah.
I wonder if she's going to be brought back possibly for WrestleMania for the women.
I like to see, since they have women tag team titles, instead of, I would rather see them instead of Beth and Natalya in the women's tag team title match, because they would have felt more of a tag team.
I completely agree. Or let's get Laycool back in the fold. That'd be interesting. But anyway, let's continue down the list.
Mickey James still wrestling. It hasn't stopped since then. And
what was her last wrestling match though recently? I'm sorry, but what was the last match she actually wrestled?
Royal Rumble, I think.
Yeah, if that.
Tori Wilson, you already said that, so we're not gonna.
Hall of Fame, congrats. Don't know why.
Victoria is retiring this year.
Yeah, she was Tara, I believe, in Impact Wrestling with Black Power, like broken and all that type of stuff. Good on her though. She had a good run.
And Melina was released in 2011 because I think she asked for it.
Yeah.
And was gone. She made like one appearance in Lucha Underground and wrestles in the Indies.
Yeah, and she seems to be doing all right.
Yeah. So yeah, really. Oh, and I forgot. I missed something. Yeah, I think she's doing Indies.
I honestly cannot think of what Trinity is doing right now. I barely remember her in WWE.
I can't even find her on this. Oh, here it is. I completely skipped over that name too. Like it's like my eyes didn't want to see it. So.
Well,
she's retired.
Problem, she's retired. When you don't do a lot.
She's retired.
Okay.
Then we had a vignette of all going up with Shawn Michaels.
Not much has changed, and he likes it that way.
Yeah. Then we had the main event. Not the show main event, because Noah probably would leave this call right now, so.
Yeah. Oh, you froze. Hello. Owen, you're frozen. Right before you cursed yourself saying main event. You're frozen, brother. Okay. What's up? No, why? Not that I know of. I close the app and reopen if I were you.
Sorry about that. Skype, it just has those days. All right, so yeah, like I said, we had all grown up with Shawn Michaels, that vignette. Then we had the main event, which is on disc 2. They couldn't fit it all on one disc for some reason. It was the WWE Championship match, WWE Champion John Cena versus Shawn Michaels.
And a poll also made for this match as well, with, of course, their official wireless partner at the time, AT&T. And let's see how they voted. Now, you are, of course, on AT&T, as you said. Who would you have voted for, John Cena or HBK?
Well, the question was, who do you think is going to win this match, not who do you want to win this match?
Correct.
So I would have voted John Cena because Shawn Michaels has gone on record in saying that he didn't want to hold the title, doing his second run. And obviously, it just makes sense. It was passing of the torch. So, yes. See, I'm being an asshole again, Noah.
That's all right, man. I mean, hey, 59% agree with you. It was 59% John Cena and 41% HBK. And another note. Originally, it was supposed to be Triple H facing John Cena back from when they faced WrestleMania 22. Well, that Triple H got injured.
Yes. And Shawn Michaels came out to the DX theme music because they wanted to get as much out of that as they could because they was probably supposed to have still been together at this time.
Yep.
The build up to this feud was absolutely awesome. I know I don't ever love it when wrestlers get injured, but Triple H getting injured was a little bit of a blessing because we wouldn't have seen this match in real life. We wouldn't have got to see the big storyline and stuff. So, yeah. But then, I'm not saying I love the fact that Triple H got injured or anything. So.
No, I understand what you mean. What you think is you get one good thing and then something happens, you still get another good thing out of it. Too bad nobody doesn't know how to do that right now, but I digress.
And NXT did it this week, so.
Well, again, the thing is, I know it's under the WWE banner, but they do stuff differently down in NXT. It should be its own brand.
Yeah. So storyline of this match was John Cena and Shawn Michaels. Well, Shawn Michaels also, too, was the runner-up in the Royal Rumble. And typically, the runner-up in the Royal Rumble would always get the other world title shot, whether that, in this case, was going to be the ECW world title or the WWE title.
He had to
and,
Shawn
Michaels
somehow, but yeah. He had to qualify for it somehow, but yeah, you're typically right.
Yeah. But, Shawn Michaels, he wasn't going after the ECW world title. No way. Not in the state ECW was at, so.
No.
And Vince wasn't going to allow that to happen either, so.
No.
So, they had, the next night after the Royal Rumble, John Cena and Shawn Michaels won the World Tag Team titles, which were probably supposed to be DX, but obviously plans changed. And, John Cena was surprised because they were kind of teasing tension between John Cena and Shawn Michaels. So when Undertaker picked Batista to go after, Shawn Michaels realized that John Cena needed a WrestleMania opponent. So like you said, Shawn Michaels beat Edge and Randy Orton in a triple threat match to qualify for the WWE title match. And then the feud started.
Yeah.
The feud's awesome. So basically, they utilized Shawn Michaels' history, how he had a history of turning on all of his tag team partners that he's ever teamed with in the past.
Yeah.
And he said that there was just something different about John Cena. And, they were building up for weeks and weeks that Shawn Michaels possibly was going to turn on John Cena, which is kind of like why I liked him as tag team champions, because it gave more opportunity to tell that story. And you were just waiting for it to happen. They would tease it week after week after week, but it never quite materialized. JBL even called him out on it, and Shawn Michaels says, I don't do sweet chin music when people tell me to do it. I do it when people least expect it.
And when I want to. And bang! He hit him.
Go Home Edition of Raw, doing the No Way Out rematch, which you can watch on if you get this DVD.
Free network.
Yeah. It was a No Way Out rematch, Undertaker and Batista versus John Cena and Shawn Michaels. And Shawn Michaels finally struck and hit John Cena out of nowhere. I love that it was the Go Home Edition of Raw because, that was basically what everyone was waiting for, and he finally did it. And that basically then we were off to the races. And obviously this was, like I said, a passing of the torch match. Shawn Michaels was the old veteran. John Cena was the new young guy. If you go watch the video package, it rules. Then we had the match.
Awesome entrances too, by the way.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels had like the big pyro with the DX symbol, and John Cena showed up in the Mustang, like driving right into the arena, which was
freaking Fast and Furious, right through a WrestleMania glass pane.
Yeah, that was awesome. And then we had the match. And the match is great match.
Absolutely.
They tell the story first where Shawn Michaels, because he's the veteran, is consistently out wrestling John Cena with a bunch of headlocks and chops out of nowhere.
After getting slapped first, by the way, falling for Shawn Michaels, like, nope.
And eventually, John Cena lays out Shawn Michaels with a clothesline, which kind of, leads to John Cena kind of starting to get the upper hand on Shawn Michaels.
That took a while, though, too. And when John Cena executed that first move, that was a loud boo.
Yeah. And they fight on the outside. Shawn Michaels bounces John Cena head first on the announcer's table, and then he hits the moonsault on the outside right onto the Raw announce table, but it doesn't break because it's not the ECW announce table, so, they've already gotten their taper spot for the night. Then eventually Shawn Michaels starts to target the injured leg of John Cena by putting him into the figure four, the sharpshooter, draping it around the post. Then eventually John Cena takes off Shawn Michaels. Because at the time, John Cena's moveset was very limited. So he didn't really do all the moves that you see him do nowadays.
He literally threw fists. I mean, there was this match, a bunch of times fighting for control was nothing but chop right, chop right, chop right.
Yeah. So John Cena takes off Shawn Michaels' head with a clothesline. Not literally, but figuratively. And then John Cena mounts a comeback. He hits the 5-knuckle shuffle.
Keep in mind, before this, Shawn Michaels, he ran into the post, busted open.
Right. And then John Cena started fighting away at the open wound of Shawn Michaels. Then John Cena goes for the FU, because this was, before it was PG. and Shawn Michaels counters. Goes for the Sweet Chin Music. That gets countered, and then Shawn Michaels inadvertently takes out, super kicks the referee.
Yeah.
And he falls out of
the spot into a DDT, both men down.
Awesome. And then Shawn Michaels lays John Cena out with a power driver on the steps, which I love that power driver. If you go on the Rated R report on Aftermatch Wrestling, I was asked what one of my favorite power drivers were. This power driver that Shawn Michaels does, he also did it in the first ever Hell in a Cell match with The Undertaker. I love that power driver.
Busted John Cena wide open.
Yeah. And he calls for a referee, but because the referee takes too long to get into position and, John Cena has extra time to recover, John Cena kicks out. Then John Cena hits the FU on Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels kicks out. And John Cena gets the STFU in onto Shawn Michaels. And Shawn Michaels gets the ropes. And the referee forcefully actually takes Cena off of Michaels, which you would never see something like that happen nowadays because, it's the main roster and they don't let you have fun. So, and then, the referee is being overzealous, aggressive with Cena. So it causes Shawn Michaels to regain himself and hit the Sweet Chin Music on John Cena.
Out of nowhere.
And then they continue to fight. John Cena goes for the FU again. Shawn Michaels lands on his feet, goes for the Sweet Chin Music. John Cena counters that. Cena hits the STFU, and Shawn Michaels has nowhere to go. He's forced to tap out. John Cena wins the match, retains his championship, and, confetti falls down. Some fans are leaving because this is when John Cena was starting to get the negative reaction. It wasn't as loud as you would notice. I think it was louder here too because Shawn Michaels they liked more in this match, so that's why I think he was getting his booed as heavily as he was. But they were still there. And then afterwards, John Cena tries to go do the Mole Fin and shake Shawn Michaels' hand out of respect. Shawn Michaels refuses because he's just so emotionally drained and upset because this is like his final opportunity to possibly become WWE champion. He just walks off. Cena does the salute, and afterwards he says into the camera, "This was for you, Dad." Now I don't really know why he said that, because I know his dad is a manager and stuff, but I don't know if his dad was sick at the time or something, or he just wanted to do it he just dedicated this match to his father for some reason. But I thought it was just kind of weird. Definitely something you notice too. That's different today. Back then, they didn't have the thin as heavily mic, so John Cena and Shawn Michaels would say things to each other, and you couldn't quite make out what they were saying. But I kind of like that because we're left in mystery. Because today we probably would have heard what they were saying. So.
Oh yeah, to be fair, a lot of stuff they've said in between the ring to each other has never really been discovered. What did Rock and Stone Cold say to each other in the middle of the ring at the end of their match back at WrestleMania 19? There's still some stuff left completely unknown to us, and I like that. Now, I remember the last thing that we did learn about was when Nakamura faced John Cena. Nakamura said, "I'm sorry." John Cena said, "Don't be sorry."
Yeah. And that was the end of the match. Great match. 4 stars. Not my match of the night, though. I think I like Batista Taker more just because the match is a little bit more predictable. This match is more predictable than that one. But still a great match. Great story. 4 stars. No complaints. As for where they went afterwards, obviously they would have the epic 1 hour Iron Man match. Not Iron Man match, but 1 hour match on...
our match on a Monday Night Raw. Incredible.
Yeah. Which I think was the longest match on Raw up until
At that time, yes.
Yeah. Up until the Gauntlet match last year. And then they would have the Fatal 4 match at Backlash with Edge and Randy Orton included into it. And then they never really had a blow-off match because then Shawn Michaels was shortly taken off TV because of Randy Orton and stuff like that. So, and then I think John Cena went out due to injury. But they would still have, anytime he put John Cena and Shawn Michaels in the ring together, they would still put on clinics. Shawn Michaels retired, in 2010 because Crown Jewel never happened for me. So I'm going to just see that. Here's Crown Jewel. There it goes. It's all over my wall now. So thanks a lot. And I don't think that's a show you want all over your wall. So, and John Cena is basically part-timer now. And he's, like a 16-time world champion.
He's doing everything imaginable, okay? The next time he shows up in WWE, who freaking knows? But at this point, people are hoping he crashes the Baron Corbin match at WrestleMania. And honestly, I'm hoping for that too. The fact that they're going to be in Boston this coming Monday Night Raw, I would be surprised to hear Cena chants throughout the entire night.
Yeah. I might be going to Raw, I might not be. If I'm going to Raw, I'm not buying a ticket myself, so...
I don't blame you there. I don't care if it's $20.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, you pretty much covered the match. There was one point, though, there was like a reversal to a splash, tip up, big elbow drop by Shawn Michaels, his utter highlight. And then there was another, there was a Sweet Music build-up where he eats another vicious clothesline. Besides that, what else? There was a top rope FU attempt fought off. Shawn flies off. Cena catches and rolls through. Then there's an FU counter into a Sweet Chin counter. Submission attempts, then a modified inside cradle. Michael misses an enziguri, and then STFU happened. Shawn Michaels makes it to the rope, and that's when the hold. He's got rope. I will disqualify you. He got the ropes. He breaks the hold, and then Shawn Michaels goes to that Sweet Chin Music and nearly wins. Beyond that spot in the match, you pretty much cover the match to a T. Clothesline, reversal splash, blah, blah, blah. As far as the match for me, compared to what I've seen the rest of the night, and it was like the first one-on-one encounter. I was like, oh, Battle Generation, this should be really good. It was really good, but yeah, you're right. Outcome predictable. It's 4 out of 5 for me as well.
And that was, and then the last thing we saw was them just, recapping the whole show. So if you don't want to waste your time with the show, which I don't know why you wouldn't, it's a great Mania. You could just go watch You could just go watch this part of the show, and that's it. You don't have to do anything else. But
thank you, Saliva, for ladies and gentlemen. Great WrestleMania official theme song. That's another thing. Why can't the freaking WrestleManias nowadays get a decent, realistic, relatable, understandable, cared about, realistic official theme song? What the hell is this one?
Yeah.
Good God Almighty, what a match, by the way, by good old JR at the end of this match too.
Yeah. Letter grade for this match. Not the this show.
You made letter grade for the show?
Yeah.
Like I said, the Cruiserweight, not really represented. The ECW thing, very small, but good milestone, I guess, for the original. But the Divas match was freaking filler. But I pretty much enjoyed everything else. This was, again, one of the better WrestleManias to me in recent memory overall versus the recent ones, where last year's highlight was only Ronda Rousey, and the previous year before that was what everyone thinks was Undertaker vs. Roman, which is probably the worst highlight. For me, it was probably the hardest returning. 32, kind of average. But anyway, as far as my overall grade for WrestleMania 23, it's an A-.
Okay. So now it's my turn to give the letter grade, and very close to an A-. However, you have a crappy. You have had the Undertaker match been the third to last match on the card. It would have been an A-. But there's also that crappy Kane Great Khali match, and the Divas match. But still, great Mania. I thought the card flowed very, very well. Great Money in the Bank match. Good U.S. title match. Pretty good U.S. title match. The Battle of the Billionaires is entertaining. I even like the bonus exclusive match with Ric Flair and stuff.
And don't forget the backstage segments.
Yes, the backstage segments were very entertaining. The main event was great. So I'm going to give this show B+. Great show.
Okay.
Yeah, so overall, I think we're in the B+, A- category, but you're the math guy here, so you know that more than me.
Yeah, pretty much B+, A-. You're in the dead middle. It can literally tip either scale. I mean, if you're going on scales of 100%, like if I was giving this like a number grade, A- would be technically under a 93%. B+ is somewhere between like 88 and 90, I believe. And that depends on the grade scale you use. But I'm not a professor. I'm not an instructor. I'm just a simple man and a lifelong fan of wrestling. Yes.
And yeah, well, that's basically it for the review. I think this video is going to be 2 hours because you have, the bit included where I showed you guys the DVD. So you guys get like a nice commercial break in between. So yeah, now we get to talk about what the next show is. Chris Dodd has the next pick. No, you probably won't be on it because we're gonna probably film it Sunday. But
I'll still probably watch it and just give my feedback. What are y'all doing?
So we have stipulations, like I mentioned. It can be a WrestleMania, Hall of Fame, an NXT Takeover, or like a show that's taking place, after WrestleMania, like during WrestleMania weekend, like a Raw after WrestleMania, SmackDown after WrestleMania, ECW after WrestleMania, main event after WrestleMania, Superstars after WrestleMania, which I don't think anyone's picking any of those shows, but hey, maybe someone will be. Maybe someone will be that asshole. So, but he's making history because he's the first one to pick an NXT Takeover. And what is he picking? He's picking the first NXT Takeover Brooklyn.
Oh, wow. Great.
And you'll find out why.
Versus Tyler Breeze. You had Sasha Banks versus Bayley that put women's wrestling on the map in WWE. You had Finn Balor versus Kevin Owens in an incredible ladder match. You had Apollo Crews debut against the Perfect 10 Dillinger. And, believe it, babe, you had Blue Pants with the Vaudevillains versus Blake and Murphy with Alexa Bliss. Incredible pick and great card. Have fun.
Yes. And I'll say my pick. So, no, you're going to hate me in like a week or so.
Why?
Because you've done a lot of great shows. But what are we doing the show for if you don't do the bad shows? Because we got to do it.
I sort of expected you were going to go there eventually. What did you pick?
So I've made my decision. It's going to be WrestleMania 9. I heard how bad that show was. And we need this, but I haven't seen how bad that show was. So I got to see because we need to know how bad WrestleMania can get.
Oh, I know people that can probably tell you a lot about that in No DQ, especially my good friend Jeff Meacham. He's been watching every WrestleMania since 1 all the way up. I can't imagine what that ranks in his list. But yeah, I'll check it out and see if I can be part of it. Either way, I'll give my feedback. Okay, so we got the best and we got the worst. And then I'm sure somewhere someone will play in the middle ground. Okay, Owen.
So Noah, now you do your plug and promotion.
Okay. Thank you for having me on. I enjoy doing this with you when I can. It's hard, of course, being a part-time worker and part-time college student. But I hope y'all enjoyed this and nothing else, enjoy wrestling. With that, I'm just a simple man and a lifelong fan of wrestling, in case y'all haven't figured it out. So go ahead and look me up, nodq.com/Noah. Takes you to my Twitter page. I'll talk to you anything about wrestling. Recently, I put in a post about AEW because I'm very excited for that. A lot of great feedback on that. I'll talk to you about anything, WWE or beyond. Raw, SmackDown, 205 Live, # 205 Live Matters. NXT UK, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Ring of Honor, Independent Wrestling, support local independent wrestling, folks, and Impact Wrestling. So happy Alley's in AEW, the bunny, one of my favorites. So I'll talk to you about anything wrestling. And hey,
even main event? Even main event?
You know what? Like you said, you got to have the bad with the good. One cannot exist without the other. I've talked to you already about one main event. I'm sure it won't be the last. Yeah, and if you also want to, check out my civil YouTube channel under youtube.com/users/NoahFox210, where you'll find period predictions, WWE and beyond. You'll find my little podcast, my little series, # 205 Live Matters, with bonus content called Simple Stances, where we talk everything cruiserweight wrestling, then, now, and forever. This gentleman has joined me on it as well. You might find rants, you might find humor, you might find serious banter, you might find criticism, but you're sure to have a fun time watching. And hey, anyone's welcome to be on. If y'all want to be on, let me know. DM me, look me up, comment, message me. Also, I do monthly WrestleCrate unboxings. I'll be doing this one shortly for this month about wrestlers with podcasts. Should be a lot of fun. I can't wait to see what autograph I get and t-shirts. And also, folks, I also work in conjunction with a group of people that work for a company called No DQ. So go check out their website on YouTube, Twitter, and even on Facebook. Go check out their official website too. Follow them here, Aaron Rips, No DQ. Go follow them on Twitter at NoDQ.com. Buy a shirt. They got plenty of great shirts. Go to NoDQ.com/shirts. Check out our playlist on Spotify, # TeamNoDQ. And you will find over 5,000 songs there. Everything imaginable, I'm sure. Video games, wrestling, pop, Korean, foreign, you name it. And we got an insane 60-minute Iron Man Trivia Challenge come up between the current Jeff, the PA sensation, Greg Cherry, versus Jeff Meacham, the Professor, the West Coast Professor. So that is sure to be something incredible. So be sure to tune into that. I'm sure Owen will watch as well and give his thoughts. It's going to be a barn burner. I'm officially calling it now. I am Team Cherry, along with the lovely Cindy G. Also, stay tuned for NoDQ.com. We're going to be doing predictions. This guy will be doing predictions with us as well. We're going to do predictions for Wrestlemania and NXT TakeOver in New York. And I will also be doing predictions with Team NoDQ for the G1 Supercard. You'll find also predictions on my YouTube channel for Impact United We Stand. And as always, folks, as I close, support your wrestling outlets, both big and small, and let's keep growing this wrestling community together. Simple as that.
For something that's simple, you had a lot of plugs.
Well, that quote pretty much speaks for itself.
Yeah. So, as for me, you can check out my channel, CM Brothers. We're starting our March Madness series. I mean, it's off to the best start because we've just been busy lately. We're going to do episode 2 tomorrow. We're going to be talking about movies, and then we're going to do episodes 2 and 3. One of them will be on movies with me and Chris. The other one's going to be on colors with me and James. So you can't even
like black.
Yes. And check out on the Talkinator. Tomorrow or today, depending on my mood. Me and my cousin are going to be with you in Breaking Bad season 5, episode 9. Obviously, check out this channel. Wrestling Rundown tomorrow. Noah should be on if all goes to plan.
If everything works out, I'll be on. Otherwise, have fun.
Yeah. It's 150th episode tomorrow too, so let's see if we can come up with something special. Let's see if we can come up with something special to do with our 150th episode, because I have no clue. So,
eat cake.
Well, I have cake, but it's mostly eaten because it's my birthday cake. So,
happy belated birthday, by the way.
Thank you. And then check out Aftermatch Wrestling, where I show up occasionally for the Rated R Report and NXT Party. And I really, really hope that we can get Rated R Rewind. They can get Rated R Rewind going, because I really enjoy going back and watching some past NXT UK stuff. And check out my appearance today on Aaron Riff's No DQ Live, No DQ, discussion, where I came in and tried to get Aaron Riff to accept the challenge, but didn't quite work. So I tried. You saw. I'm assuming. I think you saw that, Noah. So
I did go back and watch the stream later. That was extremely entertaining. Brilliant.
Yes. But at least he has more of like a legitimate reason than what other people give for not watching 205 Live. So I don't completely hate on him. So.
And he respects us also for 205 Live. Hashtag 205 Live matters. Which is also, hey, he lets me put the series up on his channel. So there you go.
Yeah. And that's basically it, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure you guys, like, comment, subscribe, and do all that stuff. And we will talk to you guys later.
Have a good night, folks. Be elite.